It's draft night. It's here. It is time. Welcome into the Locked On Vikings live stream. Let's settle in.
You are Locked On Vikings, your daily Minnesota Vikings podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome in to the Locked On Vikings live stream. It's just me for now, but Sam Ekstrom's going to be joining us in a little bit. Luke Inman should be joining at some point. Arif Hassan's popping in at some point. Reggie Wilson, Julia Daniels. We got the whole squad coming in to hang out here on night one of the NFL draft. I am going to be here all the way through pick number 32. We will be there to talk. The only time that I'm going to leave, there's some Locked On NFL Network stuff that I have to go do when the Vikings pick actually goes in. So you get an instant reaction here, and then I got to go do a couple interviews, and I'll come right back. It'll be like 10 minutes. And we will be able to do this. So welcome in, everybody. I will be heavily relying on the chat. Everyone's just telling me to wake up. I'm awake. I've been awake. I've been awake for like 36 hours. That's not true. I did not sleep well last night, though. So while we wait for things to kick off here a little bit, obviously the draft in earnest will start at the top of the hour here. We started this at like 6:55 Central. There are some things worth talking about. If you didn't listen to any of the shows this week or anything that's been going on this month and you got some catching up to do, we can kind of start with that. Basically, there is like a pretty big consensus around the Vikings going with some kind of defensive back, corner, or safety. It's not like a guarantee or anything. There are a couple D tackles, but those D tackles are not typically seen as like worth pick 18. They're more like back of the first, top of the second kind of guys. Maybe Peter Woods, but that's controversial. There's also somebody like Kenyon Sadiq, who's a tight end the Vikings are really high on that they could go with. But otherwise, it's like a bunch of defensive backs. We still don't know what the deal is with Harrison Smith. But the thing you might need to know about if you missed it is that Jonathan Grenard trade talks are like very engaged and back in. This is a little interesting to me. I don't know how this works out on draft night, because my understanding based on the other reporting was that the whole snag with Grenard's contract situation was that the teams that had like agreed to some kind of trade with the Vikings, that had gotten some compensation the Vikings were happy with, couldn't get the contract worked out with him. And the Eagles were supposedly one of these teams. I think the Colts maybe were one of those teams, if I remember the rumors. And so if that's the case, if those rumors were all true, then this is not the time when you enter a contract negotiation in an NFL front office. Everybody's busy. The draft is like all hands on deck. Everybody's engaged. Everybody is focusing on the board, working on their charts. Everybody's got their job in the war room. And so this is not, and agents as well. Agents aren't focused on their pro clients right now. They're focused on all of the rookies they just signed. So I don't know if it's like I would always have thought it not that feasible to get that contract worked out now. So either the contract did get worked out and we just didn't hear about it, and it was something that was like a deal that was handshaked on that like depends on how the draft board falls. So the rumor that's out there is like, let's say it's like if Ruben Bain falls, right? He's got the off-field thing. He's got that like vehicular manslaughter charge or whatever the charge is. And that whole like situation that happened a couple years ago, that could cause him to fall. And if he falls all the way to say where the Vikings are at or where like the Eagles are at, they're the team that's rumored to be the trade partner here. If he falls to a certain threshold, the Eagles might trade up to get him instead and tell the Vikings, no thanks, we're good. We got Ruben Bain. We're not going to take Jonathan Grenard. But if Bain goes like 8th overall to the Saints or whatever, which is what happened in the Locked On NFL mock, then the Eagles would then call up the Vikings and say, okay, let's do it. Let's do the deal. I have no idea what the deal would be, if it would include first round picks. It could include a swap of, 18 and 23 or some combination, or picks next year. But I have no idea what it could be. But that's where the situation is. And the reason that this is the thing that went super viral here was an excerpt from John Ledyard and Ollie Connolly on the Read Optional podcast, which is a paywall podcast. That's their part of their Substack. And so they posted their kind of final wrap-up mock with a bunch of intel and the stuff they heard. Those guys do get some rumors here and there, so they do have a little bit of reporting in there. And one of the reports in there was that there is a trade like that in place, that the Eagles are going to trade for Jonathan Grenard, and that is something that's in place to take place on draft night, maybe pending, some weird fall from some, oh my God, well, hey, if Arvell Reese starts, has a gas mask video, we want to be open to that. So we'll wait and do, that kind of thing can happen too. Is, well, if somebody crazy falls, you want to be set up for that to be an option. No scenario is unconsidered. So maybe that could be where it goes. So I'll take some questions from the chat here. Universal Kevin asks, if Jeremiah Love falls, does that take precedence? I guess just based on like where he is on people's boards, probably won't happen though. It sounds like he is going fourth to the Tennessee Titans. That's been rumored for a long, long time. And if not, the Giants probably do that. There's always, a couple of those like blue chip players that, hey, if they fall, maybe that's the thing. There's a couple of medical situations you got to know about though too. With Caleb Downs, who is, the next big thing at safety. I mean, he is like, honest to God, watching his tape gave me Harrison Smith vibes in a way that Dylan Thieneman, who's the massive, overwhelming favorite for the Vikings, did not. He gave me real Harrison Smith vibes where he was just like psychic and could just kind of leave early to things and was just always there 2 steps earlier than any offense ever planned for. And the problem is there was a rumor around the combine season that he had a knee issue and he could fall a little bit further. I kind of don't think it happens. It sort of quieted up and it sounded like there are enough teams that are okay with it where he's still going to go in like the top 6 or 7 picks. But that's a thing to watch. Jermod McCoy's another one to watch. He has a knee issue as well. He tore his ACL, missed all of the 2025 season, and there appear to be complications with that now that could require a second procedure. That's a Tom Pelissero report from a couple days ago. So he could fall. He's a corner that I think is like really fantastic, actual blue chip tape, but obviously this knee issue is really big. This is going to be very similar to like the Will Johnson situation from last year, if you remember it, where he had knee issues that teams were really genuinely concerned about how it would hold up. And then he ends up going in the second round of the Arizona Cardinals. Worked out pretty well for them. He played well all year, hurt his knee at the end. We'll see how that comes in when Arizona Cardinals camp starts. We'll see how healthy he is by the next time it matters. At this point, here's the deal. We got a lot of time to kill, folks. The Vikings aren't going to be up to draft for like a while, right? Like this is going to take, this whole thing's going to be a multi-hour live stream. So I will take questions from the chat. Landon Miller says linebacker. Great question. So the biggest name in the class is Sonny Styles. I'm not counting Arvell Reese. He's in the edge rusher bucket to me. Sonny Styles is too blue chip. Like there's no way he falls. That would be a shocking fall. He's probably also one of those guys that goes in like the top 7-ish pick. You could honestly see Ohio State representing 4 of the top 7 picks between Sonny Styles, Caleb Downs, Arvell Reese, and then also Carnell Tate, who a lot of people have as the top receiver in the class. But for the Vikings, the next guy on the consensus board would be CJ Allen, who is, he's not an Anthony Barr type. He's got an Anthony Barr type build, but he doesn't play that position. He's not like a pass rusher. And in fact, him as a blitzer is probably the biggest issue with him, which makes it a little bit sketchy to imagine him as a Flores fit. However, I think he's a really good linebacker. He gets to the flat. He's really, really rangy. I remember thinking like, man, it's like Georgia has a safety on the field with how much range he can cover, but he is the size of a linebacker and he tackles well like a linebacker and all that. He just doesn't like blow up a guard on a crash the way you want. So I don't know if the Vikings would be in on that. Best defensive tackle is a question from Noah M. So it really depends on what you want, because they come in very different buckets, which, by the way, I went into a lot more detail on this on the last 2 Locked On Vikings podcasts. So if you want to circle back to those later, you're going to get more information. But Peter Woods is the sort of undersized pass rusher type that is maybe a designated pass rush specialist. Think Kalijah Cansey, but not as much of an athlete, which That I don't know if that's a first rounder. Like that is, and that's the debate. It's like, will he go in the top 32 is genuinely a question that is debated amongst people who do this all the time. Then there's Caden McDonald, who's the other side of the spectrum. No pass rush at all. You'll never get pass rush, but he's a total brick house in the middle, going to be great for the run defense. And that's something I think the Vikings could really be looking for. That said, I don't know if that's one you look for tonight, the way that this draft board is, because the day 2 defensive tackles, there's a ton of really great value there. And there's a lot of guys that could absolutely fill that role, but for one reason or another, they're just not seen as guys you need to do pick 18 on. And that's a position that is, I mean, it's not like taking, a blue chip corner. You can get a really good D tackle in round 2 or round 3. What prospect would make you go, all right, if they picked him at 18? It's Thieneman for me. I think I've coped because of how much people have talked about it. And I've listened to some people that like him a lot more than I do. And tried to kind of hear out that argument enough. And I think I get it. Look, he's such an athlete. Flores will figure out something to do with him. But it just won't be, I just don't want him to be the box safety. Don't think of him as a Harrison Smith replacement. That I'm going to dig my heels in on. Dylan Thieneman does not replace Harrison Smith. Maybe he replaces Cam Bynum. But that Cam Bynum, remember, is a guy that Flores inherited. I don't think that's something that he wants to do like on purpose. But hey, somebody who's as athletic as Dylan Thieneman and has as much experience, and you can tell that like the mental is right, and like his, you can tell the film study is really effective. Like somebody who has all those positives, you can surely, if you're a guy as smart as Brian Flores, you can find out something to do with him. Is Jermod McCoy still my realistic top target, even in the context of increasing concerns about the knee? It's a question that because we're here, because the draft is happening, we're going to have an answer to this in 45 minutes of who they actually picked. It's something that I just don't really feel like I need to answer or think about. I have no idea. I don't know what the knee is. I don't know where everybody feels. So I'm just going to put a big IDK on that. And in an hour, it's not going to matter. How far would you feel comfortable trading up for Caleb Downs? So when I did all the mock draft sims, it felt like it started to be feasible around like pick 14, 15. Ravens, Bucks, that kind of thing. Otherwise, you start giving up like a first next year or something like that. And I don't think that's where the Vikings want to be. Which somebody else asked about. There's some questions about the GM job, about like with no official GM, are they more or less likely to make trades? Here's the thing. I don't know if you want to trade too many future picks because you don't know who the GM is, and you don't want to be interviewing a GM and be like, oh yeah, and by the way, I just gave your second round pick away for somebody that you didn't even have a say in, right? Like, I don't think you want to do that necessarily. So I feel like those big aggressive things, they're options. You can do them. Nobody's going to stop you, but I don't know if the Vikings have that in them right now, I guess. And then another one, I got it. Kevin, you asked a couple times, do we give the GM job to Brzezinski? It's anybody's guess. He'll be a candidate. I bet he'll interview, but I don't think, I don't think that it's going to be like an anointment. I think that is just not the vibe that I'm getting from the way Brzezinski has handled things. Brzezinski has handled things basically trying to defer every situation. We're going to get more money for next year. We're not going to trade any picks for next year. We're going to leave every option open. We're going to prioritize all the flexibility in the world. Well, sometimes flexibility means I don't have a guy on my roster who plays linebacker after 2027. And that means you can pick whoever you want. And that's like I think that's the deal. And I don't think you do that if you like have been told, oh, you're going to get the job. Like, I think if they were going to give Brzezinski the job, he hasn't done anything except for get Kyler Murray on the vet minimum. There hasn't really been like a major transaction that carries like any risk at all. And I don't think you do that if you're in year one of your, long-term tenure. I think you do that if you're the guy holding the fort down for now and the next guy's coming in. Is Arif joining? He told me he is. We'll see what happens. That reminds me, I got to send out the link. Give me a second. Yeah, we're going to have Sam, who's supposed to come in. He's doing a hit with Carol Evan right now. Jeff has a really good point. Thumbs this up. Very true. Truth nuke, if you will. The absolute worst, like what the F pick. Man, you can kind of, I think anything that's like a huge reach would probably get that, right? Like, I don't think that there's a lot of like, kind of by definition, the options that we've been discussing are all somewhat to be expected, right? Emmanuel McNeil-Warren would be a reach on like consensus boards, and by most people's estimations, picking McNeil-Warren at 18 would be too high for him. But I don't think people would be like, what did they do? Like, oh, they just picked maybe Thieneman was gone, they picked the next safety. The D tackles would be something I don't love, but I wouldn't be like bewildered by it. But I mean, I don't know if they just like suddenly pluck Eli Stowers out of there and then he's the tight end at pick 18. Yeah, then everybody would be going like super, super crazy. Some people, Ty Simpson maybe is the ultimate silly goose pick. That's a couple people said that. Yeah, I don't think we're getting, if there's one position I don't think they add at all this weekend, it's quarterback. They already have 4 in the room. And I think they're pretty happy about Max Brosmer as QB4. As bad as he played last year, like that was obviously circumstances that they don't want to put him in again. But as like the practice squad Devy guy, every team's got one. I don't think they're seeking too hard to replace him. And if they are, that job is for like undrafted free agents, right? Like that's, to bring in your Joel Stavi and then maybe there's a camp competition for that. But otherwise, I think the 3 of Murray, McCarthy, Wentz is a room that they feel pretty comfortable with. I don't think they add a quarterback at all. Stukes at 18. Is that a thing people are talking about? I feel like he's more of a second round guy or third round guy. But I know people are talking about him maybe sneaking into the back part of the like pick 30, right? Like the back of the first round. But I don't think that would be the Vikings. How many of these dresses have I done today? I don't know what you're asking there, Kramer. Is the tight end we drafted last year just not part of the math? Yeah, 6th round pick that was hurt all year long. Probably not part of the math. Not for starter. The thing is, TJ Hawkinson, if you missed it, if you've been checked out, TJ Hawkinson restructured his contract this offseason and it voided out 2027. So he's now in a contract year. And that restructure does probably mean that there's not going to be an extension. That kind of tells me he took a pay cut. So it tells me, yeah, I'll take a pay cut for you guys, but I'm getting out of this deal and I'm going to somebody else because you're just going to ask me to take a pay cut again next year, and we're not going to have this conversation. So that seems like, to me, tight end is going to be a need in 2027, and Hawkinson will leave in free agency. And yeah, the restructure ended the relationship, and that's the deal that they made. Yeah, I will take less money for you, but that will end the relationship, and that's the trade-off. That will. So I think bringing in a tight end is going to be really important. I would love to do it now. It's certainly not something they have to do urgently. They could do this next year, and they just will have a need next year, but it would be super cool. There's some tight ends in like the 3rd round that I like for the value. The Max Clare types. He's Ohio State. He's like a tight end / fullback type of guy. I think that's a really interesting piece to add to your offense that could be really fun. Looks like Fernando Mendoza just finally got officially drafted, so that one is down. We're good to go. Are we reacting to picks? I'll be saying, nothing interesting has happened yet. It's just Mendoza, which everybody already knew. I'll be reacting to picks, and I don't have a spoiler policy, so go ham. If I will ban the absolute crap out of you, though, if you tell me somebody and it's wrong. So good luck. So, yep, Mendoza's officially a Raider. How many drafts have you done to date? Oh, sorry. Okay, now I understand, Kramer. How many drafts have I done? So I started it depends on what you mean by done. I started covering the Vikings for a very small blog called Purple PTSD in 2016. And we did the 2016 draft. We wrote some articles and stuff. But I didn't start. Yeah, I did that. I started free agency of that year. I think one of my first things I wrote was asking them to re-sign Mike Wallace. So I was doing great. I was in a very good and healthy spot. It was after the Blair Walsh miss, I felt so passionate and I had so many thoughts and I wanted to write them. And then that was kind of how that started. But so the 2016 draft to now, so that many, but I didn't do a draft on Locked On Vikings until 2019. That was my first draft here. So it's been that many. And then I would even also say that I was pretty unserious about the draft for the first few years. I would just read draft guides. I would look at PFF or whatever. I would use other people's opinions. But in terms of me trying my best to make my own opinion and to go out on a limb and say I like this player, and if they fail, I got nowhere to hide. I just have to admit I was wrong. And doing that, The first year I really did that was 23. So I'm pretty new to that kind of thing where it like I really did my own take and it was like on me. That was after I did the history doc, which you can find at patreon.com/LukeBrownNFL for free. Oh my God, your dad remembers my purple PTSD stuff? I don't even remember that stuff. I have no idea what I wrote there. I know the only thing I remember writing there is the start of what became the Everyman series here, where I started doing the like everything. And those were actually Reddit posts before I started anything. How many running backs have I looked at as possible day 3 picks? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But many of them will not. One of those guys is Jadarian Price. That's probably not a day 3 guy. So 3 that I have actually in day 3, and those are Jonah Coleman, Emmett Johnson, and Seth McGowan. And then Jadarian Price and Mike Washington are like day 2 guys to me. And then obviously Jeremiah Love, who will be drafted imminently here. Jets pick is in. Yeah, I have to admit it. I am still a Reddit user. It's not my proudest thing. You have an undrafted grade on Emmett, Luigi. Oh, wow. I saw your comment earlier today on my linebacker takes. I thought that was well thought out. What part of my film school education helps me the most in my current career? Oh, the fact that I can make these podcasts in Premiere and like I can solve any problem that comes up. You know, if the color is off and something like that, I can make sure it still looks okay and I can do all that. But when I did film school, I did mostly post-production. So I know how to edit and I know how to like manage big files, like big podcast files or big stream files. And knowing a lot about that tech has definitely been vital to my ability at this job. Did you compare the day 3 competition to the consensus big board? Be interested in who's highest and lowest. No, I haven't. That's super fascinating. A non-football subreddit that I enjoy. Oh, okay. Wait, hold on. Oh God, there was one good subreddit and I forgot. I always had the take that there was one good Reddit, but I forgot what it is. Let me come back. Let me get back to you on that one. The pick is in for the Jets. Does anybody know it? Is this going to be Arvell Reese or David Bailey? This was like the big debate, right? RTV too high. That's a good one. Yes. NFC North Meme War. That is the only good subreddit. That's not a non-football subreddit though. That's why I couldn't think of it. David Bailey it is. Okay, cool. I got that right. That's big for me. So I have a contest with my dad, who I think is watching right now. So everybody say hi to my dad and my mom. Actually, say hi to all my parents. That I did a mock draft and I had to get like a certain number of people there. And I did have David Bailey to the Jets in that mock draft, so I feel pretty good there. So Arvell Reese still on the board. This gets really interesting for Arizona now, because there's a lot of rumors about this exact situation and Arizona then trading down, potentially with Dallas. So I wouldn't be shocked to see Dallas come up here. That was like specifically rumored, or Cleveland was also rumored to come up from, 6? Yeah, to come up from 6 for this. So yes, this rumbles the trade engines. Who do I have taking Love? There's been so many reports about the Titans. I put them there. You think that feels silly? The Arizona trading down or Dallas or Cleveland trading up for Arvell Reese? This is how Love and Downs fall. I mean, it's got to be, somebody's got to be 4th and 5th, right? You also have Sonny Styles, Mansour Delane. I mean, he's somebody that people have in like 11 and 12 all the time. That's not it. But yeah, Downs, Love, Styles, those are like your blue chip players, and Arvell Reese, of course, that remain. I saw Dylan Kearns. I saw you said who is ready for some wild selections, and I thought you were about to start posting about the Minnesota Wild, which I'm still not over. I don't watch a lot of hockey games, but I watched last night, and I'm very sad still. That one was tough to get through. If Downs falls below 10, I feel like we have to pull every trigger in the war room. That's kind of where I'm feeling, where the like threshold is like you start calling at 10, it starts to get possible around 15 or 16 based on like the charts and the way that like Mock Sims treated me, which is a very bad source of this information. But also, he's not getting past Dallas. That's not it. It could be my fault that the Minnesota Wild lost. Yeah, I won't watch any hockey games anymore. That's okay. Except the Frost. The Frost I watch often enough that there can't be a curse there. I've seen wins and losses. Yeah, I was so late for all of you there. Ryan Grigson is probably in the draft room. Yes, I would imagine. Unless he's like sick or something. Wow, David Bailey. Some people don't even have David Bailey as like a first rounder. So like he's a really controversial player to go second overall. There is absolutely a world where this goes down as like a huge Jets mistake. Oh, you guys watched too. Yeah, if anybody who was watching a Wild game for the first time in the third game of a playoff series, which I'm guilty of, it could totally be our fault. Yeah, that's not something we should all be doing. So I'm sorry about that. That's you can put that on me. Waiting to know. Yep, ball knower JJ, who may be, depending on how this draft goes, maybe a guest on this podcast soon. Weird he stayed, wasn't Griggs and Kwesi's guy. He might not stay. The like decisions of who stays and goes have not been made yet because there's no GM yet. Only Kwesi got fired. Nobody else went. So by 2 weeks from now, Grigson could be gone. All the scouts or somebody could be gone. There's some like 20-year lifers that now they have to like interview for their jobs again. So it could be happening. Arizona down to 2 minutes on the clock, at least by my YouTube TV, and they're clapping. So it looks like they made a pick. No trade. So they probably just snagged Arvel Reese, huh? That would be it. Is that a bad sign that Kwesi's guys are still here? No, it's just a symptom of the weird timeline that they've taken to this to not hire a new GM until after the draft. When the new GM comes in, then that's when decisions get made. If people stay after that, if people survive that, then they're here. But otherwise, get fired in March, get fired in May, whatever. What's the difference? They super could have been working a trade on Arizona. VOM Ponderosa. Is that an Always Sunny reference or a Survivor reference? Ponderosa. Or is that just your name? Yeah, I was thinking maybe there'd be a trade, but the clock is still on. They looked like they were... what in the world is that? Somebody's spamming the chat. Hang on. Making me pull up the moderation page. Get out of here. Pick is in. All right. They didn't do it. Oh, cool. The comment page is not working. Very nice. What's your read on Rob Briz not having been a GM until possibly this point in his career? Is it a George Washington situation? I don't know enough about George Washington to know what you mean by that. But I think it's more of like a Josh McDaniels situation. When you're the best in the world at what you do, you don't necessarily want to get a promotion that changes what your job responsibilities are. Now I see Pick is in now on the NFL Network stream. Well, can't ban that guy. YouTube's broken. Good luck. Can I do it from here? Oh, sweet. I can do it just from StreamYard. Awesome. Oh, should have just done that. Okay, bye-bye. What am I cooking these days? I've been trying to cook a little bit healthier. I've got a plan. I was going to do it today, but I got sleepy. I got a plan for like some sort of steak and rice bowls and a couple of sauces, like a sesame soy, like a classic kind of sesame sauce, and then a chimichurri probably, and then some rice, some edamame, some other stuff. It's Jeremiah Love. Wow, to Arizona. Okay. That is also something that could have happened if Arvel Reese was on the board. So now the Titans get to go take Arvel Reese. Nobody wanted to come up for Love, huh? Zaki, you say Zaki Wheatley goes tonight? He is. Hold on. Y'all got to know how hot a take that is. I don't know him very much, but he's 88th on the consensus board as a safety from Penn State. I am unfamiliar with him entirely, so I'm not going to tell you whether I think you're right or wrong, but that take is hot. based on consensus. All right, there goes Jeremiah Love. So now you've got Arvell Reese, Sonny Styles, and Caleb Downs all on the board. All these Ohio State cats. So now we see what we got here. Now we see where this we kind of get a bunch of teams that now get to decide what they feel about the Ohio State defense and who they credit all that stuff to. But a third overall running back, that's the highest a running back's gone since Saquon. And who is the highest since Saquon? That's got to be like one of the highest ever, right? Until you go back with till you go back to like the 90s when they would go first overall a bunch or whatever, or like back when it was different. Bijan went 7th. Bijan wasn't 3rd overall. Ricky Williams was later in the draft. It wasn't like a first overall. It was just that they traded up a lot to get him. Genty was like 10th, wasn't he? Trent Richardson went 3rd. You're right. Because Rick Spielman traded down. That was the original Vikings 2012 pick, was Trent Richardson. And they traded down one slot, took Matt Khalil. Everybody was sad about how that stuff turned out. At least the Vikings got Jarius Wright out of the deal. Reggie Bush. Oh, Reggie Bush was 2nd overall, if I remember, actually. But you got to go back 20 years for that. If Grenard gets traded for the Eagles 2nd. I want to see the actual trade deals before I judge how much they get back for Grenard. If it's just the Eagles 2nd, that's probably a little bit. I mean, I guess that's what it needed to be. Genty was 6th. Okay. Yeah, so not 3rd. Yeah, Reggie Bush would go 1st overall in this NFL. That's a pretty hot take, actually. I feel like athletes are made a little different than they were 20 years ago. Thoughts on the Titans redesign? I hate all the redesigns this year. They're all so boring. Nobody wants to take a risk anymore. I think everybody needs to just look at the 1998 like Toronto Raptors and start designing their jerseys after that. Everything is so minimalist and boring. Everybody looks exactly the same. Reggie was 20 years ago. Sorry to do it to you. 2006 was 20 years ago. I was just watching the last episode of Top Chef, and they were like, 20-year anniversary of Top Chef. And I swear to God, I felt hair fall out. Yeah, the like 90s super hokey, campy fashions, we need that real bad. Everybody's just got block letters and solid colors now and like one stripe. It's so boring. Every NFL team looks so boring. Titans pick is in. This has got to be Reese now, right? Or do they still go with like a Sonny Styles? The 90s trying to do the 80s with 6. So true. Should the Vikings do a black helmet? No. I'm waiting on American Culinary Cup. I'm going to binge it. But yeah, the gravitas of Padma Lakshmi is something that you just can't replace. It just immediately makes you feel like you're watching Old Top Chef. I watched the first episode and then I was like, I'm going to let this whole season play out. So don't tell me anything. More drastic redesigns like the 2013 Vikings redesign. That was probably for the best, getting rid of like the Pat Williams belly stripe, the side stripe. So that was probably for the best, but yeah, I just want people to like try some ideas. I hate it. Like the Rams even got rid of just the gradient on their numbers. Like anything that isn't solid block letters is gone. This is such what's the word for like that, like Eastern European architecture that was all really depressing? Somebody knows the word. That's what I feel like with these. It's like everybody's just sad about the state of affairs. Jeremiah Love won America's Culinary Cup. How dare you, Kevin? Brutalism. Yes. This is the era of brutalism in NFL uniforms. Thank you. Thank you, like 12 of you. When one person who said Baroque, that's going to be a miss. We still got the horny number. Yeah, we got the serif. I wouldn't call those numbers horny. That's probably a different. I probably think of a different word for that serif. The pick is the wrong Kevin, but we can still tell him to shut up. This pick is Carnell Tate, you say? Well. Wow. All right, everything's all messed up from my expectation. Caleb Downs, Sonny Styles. All right. I like that for them. You got Cam Ward, give him a weapon. Like, that's it. I feel like as the 4th overall, he probably isn't. Oh, Ryan Day is there. Oh, I guess of course he is. He's about to see 4 of his players go in a row. Will this force an earlier run on wide receivers? That's the kind of thing that can happen. But Arvell Reese starting to fall is crazy. And that pushes Sonny Styles down the board, which pushes Caleb Downs down the board, which pushes guys like Mansour Delane and Jermod McCoy down the board if he's not already falling for his knee. So this kind of weirdness can kind of help. The thing is, though, then those guys just go, and by pick 9, everybody's just gone in a different order, and you're like back to where people expected to be. How does Carnell compare to KJ Osborne? I would imagine Carnell Tate's a little better than KJ Osborne, but I'm not that well versed on the wide receivers. My understanding of Carnell Tate is that he is like going to be he's supposed to be a complementary piece because there's like a ceiling to it, but he is a little bit. It's just the Ohio State of it all gives me a Chris Carter, like he catches everything vibe. But Chris Carter was a 4th when he came out for off-field reasons, but that's like supposed to be the thing. Is he's this very like he's good, not like a possession receiver, like somebody that's going to be a wide receiver 3 or anything like that. But that there's like this guy is not, Justin Jefferson or Jamar Chase or anything like that. Who's the Titans coach now? Your guess is as good as mine. I don't think anybody knows. Juwan Jennings on cocaine? Sounds about right. Oh, God, I want to know what Tyler Rowland's talking about. Does anybody have eyes on Locked On Titans right now? Because he was so locked in on Jeremiah Love. Oh, right. Robert Saleh. Right. Is there anyone who is very high on the consensus board who, if they drop to 18, you'd pass on? Ooh, yeah. What are my hot takes? My hater. I don't have like a lot of crazy haterade in this one. Honestly. No, there is not. I don't have like a crazy hater take this year. Should I call? No, I can't call Tyler right now. He's way too busy. Yeah, all the Titans fans really wanted Jeremiah Love. At least it's not the Titans decided not to. Like, that would be different if it's like, I really, really wanted this guy, and then my team said no to him. It would be like how we all feel about Kyle Hamilton now. You'd be like, God, up. But if it's like, oh, he got taken a pick ahead, all right, it happens. Oh, yeah, the Vega Ione take, Luigi, says I'd pass on Ione. We don't need a pure guard. The Vega Ione take is to move him to center. Teach him how to snap and see if it works. I don't know when anybody's getting here. Sam might show up soon. Luke might show up soon. Inman. Arif might show up soon. They all have the link. I told them just to come by whenever. So I didn't. I'm the only one that has promised to be here like throughout the whole thing. I think they'll all kind of come in and out as they please. Pick is in for the Giants at number 5. Arif isn't awake yet. Tweet at him. Tell him to wake up. Hold on. I'm visiting the bad website to see what Tyler's up to. Just all caps, love lost in a broken heart emoji. Oh, Tyler. How are we doing? Let's see. I don't know if he went live. I don't know if he's built like me. He might be doing Locked On NFL stuff too, because he hosts You can catch me and Tyler Rowland every Wednesday morning on Locked On NFL. You know what? He's probably doing the same stuff that I'm going to have to do when the Vikings pick is in. Sandbun, yeah. There was a leak that somebody already said. Yeah, there was a possible leaked thing about Grenard getting traded. The Vikings and Eagles have been kind of dancing around this for months now. Steven, you got a trade thing. Is that an idea you have, or are you saying, yeah, the read option was where it leaked? They reported that this was a thing. That was the source of the leak, and it went kind of viral today. Somebody finally kind of found it, because that mock draft that's a paywalled Substack. So somebody didn't find it until somebody who was a paying person said, "Oh, hey, they said this. Does anybody else have that?" We got a Chiefs trade here. Is that what I'm hearing? Chiefs trade up to move from 9 to 6. Is that the deal? Or are you pulling my leg? It happened. Chiefs moved up to Browns pick. KC on the clock. Who did the Giants pick? Oh, the last mock wasn't behind their paywall? Okay. It was still on a Substack, which isn't... Sometimes it takes some time for that to move to social media. Oh, we don't know the Giants pick yet. We just know that Kansas City and Cleveland have traded. Okay, I got you. Yep, moving from 6 to 9. Everybody drop your nices in the chat. While we do that, quick pause. This Locked On Vikings live stream is brought to you by Kalshi. Kalshi is where you can trade on everything that is going on, from sports to everything else. Every pick is a tradable moment on Kalshi. For example, you could have had David Bailey as the number 2 pick. It was trading at 50-50, and you would have been able to just about double your money. On Kalshi, you're trading against peers in a live market, meaning there's no house. And as the probability changes, you can buy in and out of your position. Trade the draft pick, the game, and more on Kalshi. For a limited time, download the Kalshi app and use code LOCKEDON to get $10 when you trade 10. Kalshi, Kalshi. Trade on anything. Mansour Delane to KC. Who did the Giants pick? 74. Okay, so a third and what is that, a fifth to go up? The Giants picked Arvell Reese. Reese to the Giants. Okay. Yeah. And then Mansour Delane to Kansas City. Oh, I actually had that to the right team. I just had him waiting till 9 to do it. All right. Well, it's on TV for me now. They're doing soldier stuff. Okay, whatever. Over under on first round trades. 3.5. There's usually a bunch that happen at the end as people try to get back in. Trading up for Delane is crazy, you think? That's just people are just that high on this guy as a corner. I don't know. This is maybe my biggest haterade take, was that I didn't see it with him. Sonny Styles is still there. Caleb Downs is still there. You're calling it a night? All right. You will wake up to something. Some kind of chaos. Wow. Arvell Reese falling into the Giants' lap. They got to be happy about that. They got to be happy about that. Did they take him? I'm hearing the trade is with the Browns. Chad is telling me that they took him, but if you're wrong, you're going to get banned. So whoever said that, you better hope you're right. Oh, it's Steezo. Were you just saying Mansour Delane to Chiefs? Yeah, okay. Were you just saying that, or were you just saying that was an idea, or is that a tipped pick? That puts Washington on the clock. No Carnell Tate for them, but they can choose their defender of their choice, which they super need. It's on the NFL Draft Tracker. Okay, Reese Ghost said it. Very true. Keep going down, downs. Down, downs. Oh, man, like a big Caleb Downs draft slide. The headlines write themselves. Yeah, so the Browns are on the... still has Browns on the clock with no trade. Ooh, if this trade doesn't go through, a bunch of people are getting banned. Good luck. Everybody cower. I know how to do it now from StreamYard without making YouTube do it. It's confirmed. ABC says pick is in for KC. All right. Everybody's lucky. Could you imagine Caleb Downs taking Caleb down? Maybe. We'll see. Pushes everybody around. So with guys like Mansour Delane, so on a Reefs consensus board, Mansour Delane is 10. He goes 6th, right? So that just pushes everybody else. You still have Ruben Bain. You still have another injury situation, Francis Mauigoa. You still have Caleb Downs. So at this point, like, somebody is going to be outside the top 10 that isn't supposed to. Just because of the math. Just because a couple of people have, like, gone up and gotten taken, like, higher than they probably should have. Mansour and Flores' scheme is just interception city. It's possible. Hold on, I gotta moderate. Showing Chiefs pick is in. So we know if that's Mansour, yeah, it was 10th. Tate was 9th on the consensus board. Somebody's going to fall out, though, because there's still... This draft still has, like, one more surprise in it, right? It just takes one more guy. They're still just showing Arvell Reese on mine. But we're all waiting. Yeah, so far it's a little shuffled, but nothing like super, no super crazy reaches. Like a reach of the 9th player on the consensus board to take at 6th. To me, like the value of that is going to be crazy. It's probably going to be big when like Arif does his steals and reaches things because it's worth a lot of points. But, you know, you take the guy you want to take, right? Like you're not going to trade down 2 spots and make that work. Like there's so much, it's so hard to maneuver in the top 10 just because of how high the stakes on everything are. Yeah, so much for 8-minute picks. Yeah, we're 45 minutes into the draft and an hour into this live stream. No, 50 minutes into this live stream. I didn't start till 5 minutes till. Styles to the Commanders per Jordan Schultz. Take that. So top left on the board would now be Caleb Downs and then Bain and Mauigoa. But Arif's big board, which is what I'm talking about here, doesn't take a lot of injury into account unless it was like a known issue that like hampered everyone's evaluation of them the whole time, like Connor Liu. But stuff that kind of showed up later, like with Downs or like Ruben Bain's story, Mauigoa's story came out later, is it like a lot of people had already ranked him and went, oh, okay, I guess he's injured, but they would like not change their ranking that much. So it kind of thins out the board up top to have all these injury fallers. And unless you're going to take one, it gets really hard to like get what you want. You think Sadiq going too early might be the big shakeup, Chad the Lesser? I could see that. I could definitely see a team looking for a weapon and then like not liking. I feel like if I want a weapon right now, I'm going Mekhi Lemon. And then the rest is probably like Sadiq. Because then like after that, if you want a weapon, it's like Jordan Tyson. And I think it sounds like people like Sadiq more than Jordan Tyson as a weapon. And then you got to go to like the Denzel Boston, Casey Concepcion place, which is people don't see happening until like the 30s. Tate going early could push Sadiq up. Yeah, that's super true. Saints feel like the new ceiling for Ruben Bain. That's what happened in the Locked On NFL mock. And I was ready for him to fall to 10. If he had fallen to 10, I was going to trade up with the Bengals for him in a trade that involved Jonathan Grenard. Cowboys take Lemon or Sadiq. Yeah, Cowboys taking a receiver. Like that feels like a place where you want a weapon. The Cowboys are in a tough spot. And so in the Locked On NFL mock, they traded up already. But they traded up for downs. Again, God, what a beautiful headline that could be. Up for downs. Like, that's great. Oh, you know the Locked On NFL mock draft, Ponderosa? Yeah, Stizo says the Cowboys need defense. I agree, but I don't know if they are heeding that. They want flash. They always want flash. And then Sonny Styles finally gets there. So, boy, the Commanders just have a guy fall in their lap, huh? With Sonny Styles falling to 7. Jordan Tyson to the Saints. Okay. That was rumored to be a very big matchup. From the last Dayton Triangles fan. What a fantastic username you have. Did you just change that? I feel like I recognize your picture as something else. Pickens signed the tag, so if they go wide receiver at 12, then I suspect he is being traded. Could be. The thing is I gave up on predicting the Cowboys a long time ago. What did I end up doing in the Locked On NFL mock draft? Yeah, so I ended up, Jermod McCoy fell to 15, and I traded up a little bit for him. I traded a third for a fifth to go up 3 spots. Pretty uncontroversial stuff. But this was before a lot of the extra details about his knee came out. So I don't think that would be a realistic thing to do now. But it was like right after his pro day where he ran a 4.3 something. And we recorded it like at when his stock was like the highest. At what pick do you explore going up for downs? I think you start making calls at 10. And I think, honest to God, unless you're like, well, because Bain might fall anyways, like, yeah, we'll see. Jordan Tyson to the Saints. It's a match everybody likes. Saints would like Grenard and Dennis Allen's 3-4. I kind of feel like Grenard feels at most at home in a 4-3. They made it work in a 3-4, but he's like the Flores defense is. Flores just has seemed to always want that one guy that's like the edge rush god, and he's just somebody that you're not necessarily going to ask to cover as much as you would with like Van Ginkel. You know, he'll only sim pressure and special blitzes. I don't know enough about Dennis Allen's 3-4 to know what they would do with him, but I certainly wouldn't want to take him and then make him do the gink roll and make him like cover a bunch. It's just a waste. Same way I felt about Danielle Hunter. To a lesser degree, Danielle Hunter was super specialized for a 4-3, which is why he's doing so great in Houston. Oh, you don't like my Caleb Downs Harrison Smith comp? I mean, it's not that serious of a comp. I'm boss babying a little bit. You got 5 receivers going before 18? That would mean some pretty big reaches on somebody like a Concepcion or like an Omar Cooper, right? I think Omar Cooper maybe has it. That's a guy that sounds like he's got a little bit more potential than he's getting credit for. You need the Browns to take an O-line. They're up now, right? At 9. They traded down. Did they trade down with Kansas City and still get Caleb Downs? Because holy moly. Or 6 is ranked 27th. Yeah, that's like taking him before 18. The 27th player is like pretty big reach. They're 25, 26, 27 on the consensus board. Yeah, a lot of people like Denzel Boston from Washington. He's like, I don't want to be, he's like, I'll be less disparaging. He's like the Drake London type, right? But he's like a contested catch guy that doesn't separate. Lemon. You think Casey Concepcion goes before? I mean, that would be like a 10-spot reach in the first round if you think Casey Concepcion and Cooper Jr. go before 18. But maybe. On TV, we just got to Washington. We already know from pick tips that New Orleans has taken Jordan Tyson. Then everything kind of pulls back out. There's your first pick outside of the top 10 of the consensus board as well. So we continue onward. Organizing my stuff a little bit here. Wide receiver runs could also mean we are a good trade up stop. That would be great. Everybody bug a reef to get in here. Go harass him online. Brigade him. Break terms of service. You can't parse Denzel Boston and Ted Hurst. Hurst just seems better at everything. I'll take your word for it. I am not familiar. I mean, I took Ted Hurst in a couple of like random mock drafts on Locked On Vikings. And I know he met with the Vikings, but I am not familiar with him other than what Kevin Fielder told me when we did the small school episode. How likely is Iowa to the Browns? Okay, so here's the thing. So I was doing this exercise with this bet with my dad where I have this mock draft that I want to get all the names right on, which, by the way, I only need 3 more to get it because I got Jordan Tyson right. I got Fernando Mendoza and David Bailey for exact picks. And then at the back half of the first round is when I find out if I got enough names generally. So as I was doing that mock draft exercise, it just made me go through like grinding the mocks and all the teams and who was most likely. And there's like 6 teams that are most likely mocked Vega Ioane. They all are he's supposed to go to everybody. So once he goes, that's going to mess up a lot of the projections that a lot of people have. If so many of those are like, he's just the guy I guess you slot in if you don't know who else to put. Spencer Fano to the Browns. Yeah, everybody, spoils are okay in this chat, in this particular stream, if you don't want spoilers. Fano to the Browns for that. All right. I had him going to Miami. I had him lasting a couple more picks. Still not a huge like shocker yet, you know? Can't beat a solid tackle. Hey, Browns have a history with that, with Joe Thomas. Corey Kinnan has Browns going for no. He knows. Thoughts on if Ty Felton does something next year? He's going to have to take a leap. He's a special teamer, so his career doesn't like hinge on it the same way that like JJ McCarthy's does. He'll make the team, you know. JJ McCarthy, if he doesn't take that leap and he ends up a backup and he's going to get traded, he's going to do the Josh Rosen thing. But, let's pull up. Yeah, Landon Miller asks how much to go from 18 to 10. Let me pull up the trade chart calculators. But yeah, for Ty Felton, you got to take a leap. Otherwise, you're just a special teamer again. Ty Felton just ends up being Matthew Slater, honestly. Probably wouldn't do that with a third round pick, but at this point, the draft value evaporates away. You fire the GM anyways. So it doesn't go on anybody's resume. We're all just free from it. Forgot to pull up the trade calculator. How much to go from 10? Oh no. 18. I'm entering it in to 18. My deal that I worked out when it was Cincinnati and we were doing a Locked On mock was straight up 18 and Jonathan Grenard got me up, which basically puts Jonathan Grenard at a second round value. That was the way it worked out last time, but let me get some exacts here. Yeah, late second-ish. Depends on the thing. So a late second gets you there by the Rich Hill chart. But again, Jimmy Johnson says mid-second. Why is everyone telling me to get on stream? Because I told people to harass you. Get in here. I emailed you the link earlier today. People are tagging me that he's here. You don't have email on your phone? Boomer, Jesus. You've never sounded older. Who's the next most likely team to take Downs? Do you think the Giants do it? Reese and Downs? Double Ohio State? Giants pick 10 is in, and they haven't even announced the Saints pick yet. Oh, on the draft. Yeah, that's how this goes. The broadcast makes such an annoying meal out of everything. We're going to know the Vikings pick like as the Bucks are on your TV. So if you want to like watch this thing on TV and then like not be spoiled on all of it, you're going to have to come on in. Oh, hey, someone just joined. It's not the person who's in the chat, but it's Sam Ekstrom. Hi, Sam.
What's up?
Arif has yelled at me in the chat, and yet you still beat him here.
Who's in the chat?
Arif.
Oh, hey, Arif. Yeah.
He has the link.
Is this not an official After Dark episode? Is that why he's not here? This doesn't rise to the level?
Yeah. Maybe it's malicious noncompliance.
Maybe the consensus board is giving him trouble. Maybe he's like troubleshooting. The consensus board didn't have Carnell.
He's not in minutes. It's not like he's got Our Lads open.
I got to edit
it. Let's see here. So this is not a spoiler-free stream. We got people tipping picks in the chat.
I was going to ask.
So go ham. If you know it, say it. However, if someone tries to tip a pick and then they're wrong, like they were trolling me, they will get banned. So your life is on the line if you do it.
I think that's a good policy. So Jordan Tyson goes to the Saints. Is that where we're at?
We are a little past that. We got Jordan Tyson to the Saints. We've got the Browns taking Spencer Fano at pick number 9. And the Giants pick is in. We're waiting to see who it was.
We're halfway to the Vikings. So full disclosure, I was at our TV partner, Care 11.
How'd that go?
Timberwolves talk. Yeah, it was good. A lot of fun. Timberwolves talk.
How was the vibe?
The vibe around the T-Wolves, I think escalating intensity that's all going to come out in the first half. And then by the second half, it's going to be a rock fight, probably a whistle fest. And it's going to come down to who can like get to the basket, get fouled, make free throws down the stretch.
Looks like we got the Giants pick is Francis Mauigoa, the injured offensive tackle. Got a herniated disc in his neck, I think.
Don't love those. I've never had one, but I hear they're unpleasant. So my whole point.
Hold on, I got a timeout, Arif.
Arif Hassan was banned. That's really funny.
Yep, said the wrong name. I'm a man of my word.
So my whole
top 10.
My build up to saying, "Oh, I was on TV, good for me." I need to play a little catch up. So will you help me? So there was a trade.
Yes, absolutely.
There was a trade with the Chiefs. The Chiefs move up to
the Chiefs
6.
traded a third and I think a late 4th or early 5th is like pick 148 to go up from 9 to 6. Also, I have no idea how I timed out Arif. I have no idea how long that's going to last. So good luck.
Why is he not here in the room?
3.5. He has the same link you have, so he can show up whenever he wants. Yeah, so they picked Mansour Delane. So they traded up to 6 for Mansour Delane, which is...
Yeah. Now Mansour Delane would have been on my short list if they fell to, say, 14.
That would have been
I would consider
a surprising fall. It sounded, all the rumors said that there was no chance he got out of the top 10. So that kind of makes sense that they had to trade up, even though that's not where he's at on like a Reeves consensus board. Had him lower than that, had him 9th. Then that brought us to Washington, who took, was it Sonny Styles? Went to Washington?
Yep.
And then, so I actually got 4. I only need a couple more dead right. And then Jordan Tyson to New Orleans, which just got announced on the TV.
I wouldn't have wanted him. Would you have wanted Tyson?
I don't know a ton about the receivers this year, but it sounds like he is somebody that is people are a little worried about being. The discourse reminds me a little bit of like Quentin Johnston discourse when that year, where like he's a little too controversial. It's Mekhi Lemon is the one that's still on the board, and he's the one that everybody's like, oh, he's the next Amon-Ra St. Brown, this like physical little scrappy guy, good route runner.
USC, yeah.
People now think it was a fake Arif in the chat. Well, banned nonetheless.
Let's try to figure out what do the numbers mean in that handle. 4331. What does that mean? It's not his birthday.
I have no idea.
Phone pin.
His birthday is the 43rd of March, or
so okay, Bron, I assume you did like a draft day show. What were your final predictions?
Well, so I went chalk. I kind of feel like the Brzezinski GM interim thing feels like the last thing they ever all want to do is risk anything. They want to do the least risky thing and the thing that like defers as many decisions as possible. You can't obviously defer a draft pick until after the new GM is hired, whether it's Briz or not, but they just don't know who's in that chair. So they're doing everything like everything is a Band-Aid, you know? And that's kind of how it felt. Like they didn't do any risky stuff in free agency, just fix the money, just get there. So I feel like it's either trade down or just go chalk and take Thieneman. Or I think Sadiq is actually also kind of a chalk thing at this point. He's been talked about a lot by Alec Lewis. And he was talking with you on the squad show, which I did not get a chance to check out. So what? I know he dropped a couple nuggets, though. What were those?
He said that Peter Woods, this is looking ahead to tomorrow, that Peter Woods has, quote, stuff. And that's not public. That's not public stuff.
Whoa.
But he's got stuff.
So it could fall really far. And he's a borderline first rounder at all to me anyways.
Yeah. I accused Alec of being a mouthpiece, that he's getting the message out so that Peter Woods falls to 49. That was my accusation, which is unfounded.
Interesting. I need to listen to this because that sounds like a fascinating conversation.
Are you watching NFL Network feed, ESPN feed, or just
I'm an NFL Network loyalist here. However, I have it muted because everybody should just be here on our feed.
It's good. Yeah. Good call. Hopefully that's what everybody's doing. I'll cover the ESPN bases. We're seeing Fano hugging family. So this morning, Reggie Wilson and Alec Lewis went with Sadiq. I predicted trade back and then Emmanuel McNeil-Warren. And I kind of regretted it almost immediately because if you go through rounds 1 through 4, you could probably get a good safety in any of those rounds.
That's where I'm at. This is maybe there's not like don't do this in the first round.
unless the player is exceptional, like head and shoulders above, is that going to be the case from a guy from Toledo? Like, you're going to have that much confidence in him? Maybe not. But that's where Inman and I staked our claim. But I think Thieneman still, like him or not, has a very high likelihood to go to Minnesota. And the FanDuel line has him at 18.5, obviously right on that line of demarcation after the Vikings pick.
Mm-hmm.
But
I would
logic.
probably call 18
his
floor. I think like the more like it's more likely that he's gone before the Vikings pick than that the Vikings like pass on him, I guess, to me, because there's some other teams that might want him, like Dallas especially.
So the Giants, with the 10th pick that they gave up for Lawrence, or they got for Lawrence,
take Francis Maligoa,
the lineman, and at 5,
and
they got
hopefully they get their kind of redo on Evan Neal, I guess, for Dexter Lawrence. Boy, that hurts that he flamed out that way. Now you got to give up Dexter Lawrence to fix it. Oof. Ooh, Cowboys trade up, according to the chat. You better be right. Is that Downs?
From 12? They were 12?
Yeah. So Caleb Downs is the faller here.
Injury.
It's got to be that.
There was PA steam on this morning, too, locally, on the 9 to noon program.
On the Cowboys trading up for Downs?
On Downs, not on this specific Cowboys move, but on Downs being a faller.
Yeah. You kind of do the math, and that's how it happened. And you've also got that weird, I know there was a report about some knee stuff that kind of went away. It didn't seem like it was something that scared people nearly as much as the Jermod McCoy knee. Seth asks if Downs gets drafted here, when is next year's draft? Dallas back to back? Oh, they traded up to 20, not the 12?
The chat is saying Downs.
It's Downs is the pick. It surely must be Downs, right? And they kept pick 12. That's crazy. And Miami goes down. Now they pick 20th and 30th. So Miami really trying to pick it. All right, number 11 for picks 12, 177, and 180. Ooh, who said Cowboys back to back?
11 and 20 is what the ESPN lineup now shows for Dallas.
Someone's getting banned. Sorry,
get
Andrew.
Out of here. Toss
Get out of here.
Foster is going to toss somebody tonight.
Get out of here. And with that,
go ahead.
Oh, well, you open whatever you're going to open because it is time for a quick break.
All right.
This Locked On Vikings live stream is brought to you by Home Chef. It can be very hard to get into that habit of cooking when you get home and you're tired and you just don't want to do it, but that is what Home Chef can help you out with. Home Chef makes cooking simple. You get fresh ingredients delivered right to your door, easy to follow recipes, and meals that actually taste great. No long shopping lists, no complicated prep, and best of all, easy cleanup. There are over 30 meals to choose from every week, so you're not stuck eating the same thing over and over, and they vary. Some of them are a little more involved, a little bit more or a little bit more meat on the bone, but they take 30 minutes, and sometimes you just want to get home and throw something in the oven. Whatever you're in the mood for, whatever you got that day, Home Chef has you covered. For a limited time, Home Chef is offering my listeners 50% off and free shipping on your first box, plus free dessert for life. Go to homechef.com/lockedonnfl. That's homechef.com/lockedonnfl for 50% off of your first box and free dessert for life. homechef.com/lockedonnfl. Must be an active subscriber to receive free dessert. This live stream, is also brought to you by Rugiet Ready. The NFL draft is where preparation meets opportunity, and every decision matters. It's all about being ready when your moment comes. And that same mindset applies off of the field too. That's where Rugiet comes in. Rugiet offers treatments designed to help you feel ready and confident when it matters most. Their top option, Rugiet Ready, is a mint that dissolves under your tongue with clinically proven ingredients and works quickly, often in about 15 minutes, and can last up to 36 hours. They also offer Go Long, designed to help with both performance and control. It's all about showing up at your best whenever your moment is. Head to Rugiet.com/LockedOnNFL and get 15% off of your ED treatment. That's RUGIET.com/LockedOnNFL for 15% off. Rugiet, where performance medicine for men.
Okay, Braun, well executed. What is you missed nothing. I just want to ask you a question because I feel like we don't talk enough anymore, and I want to. I gotta get
on. I can't. I'll definitely want to get on the Monday Squad show.
We would love to have you. We would love to have you.
Gotta be there.
So who is your draft crush? Brought to you by Rugiet. Who gets you Rugiet ready?
Jermod McCoy. I know about the knee. I don't care.
And he's big faller today. Like the betting lines now have him 32.5.
Oh, the timeout is over for Arif. He's back in the chat, but still not joining. Arif, this does not count if you don't join the stream. This does not count as labor received.
It's like a service time thing. You gotta be here
you gotta
for so many minutes.
You gotta be doing the content, bud. Yeah, for me it's Jermod, and the knee. I made that decision, and then the knee just news kept getting worse and worse. But at this point, I'm like Jack Sparrow on the ship. I'm in it.
Yeah, I mean my guy's Pons.
D'Angelo Pons. So we talked about
Pons.
him on Locked On After Dark because he is somebody that on Arif's board, there's a bunch of people that have him. Somebody has him first overall, I think. I don't know. Arif's not here to confirm or deny that.
That's controversial.
People had him as a top 5 player, and I watched and I super get it. And it's just that he's small, right?
Yeah, 5'9", barely 5'9".
I loved Clark Phillips. I'm in it again. Yeah, I don't see Arif anywhere.
He has Pons 40th.
Yeah, that's it. So a bunch of people have him down as a second or third rounder just because he's 5'8". Yeah, if Pons were 6 feet tall, he'd be top 3.
The tape is incredible.
I think most everybody agrees on that, and it's just a matter of valuation for when you have someone who's that undersized.
Yeah, I don't think this is a Josh Robinson. I think that he is legitimately going to be shut down. He's so sticky in coverage. Can jump his verticality will allow him to make up for his lack of height. Is my theory.
Yeah, you got to be that kind of guy. I mean, Amik Robertson, right? He locked up Jettis.
He did.
Top ranks. Somebody has him third overall. 3, 4, 8, and a 9.
I'm almost positive it's not the real Arif Hassan. Just a hunch.
I don't actually think anybody but Arif has that information.
Arif, prove
if it's a fake,
say something in the chat that only I would know.
Oh, yeah, true.
Yeah, we're going to verify it. You're going to tell me something. We've had a lot of car rides together. We've shared secrets with each other. Share your deepest secrets. I guess, no, share my deepest secrets in the chat.
Don't share my deepest secrets, the ones you know.
You can't see it, Braun. But maybe if we get a 4-box going. But I went fire mode tonight for this After Dark edition.
Ooh.
I'm straight.
Hold on, let's get you on a... Let me just step away for a second. I have to go get something at the door anyways, so let's just full screen you for a sec, yeah?
Wasn't that convenient? Yeah, go for it. I'll man the ship solo from the man cave. We're waiting on the Dolphins at 12. Caleb Downs has just been announced. Dolphins could very well have leaked by this point. And we are doing spoilers on the show. We got 250 people in here, too. Appreciate everyone being here tonight. I'll just do shameless plugs. Check out the Squad Show Mondays and Thursdays for your daytime entertainment. Good panels. Alec Lewis, Luke Inman, Tyler Fornes, Reggie Wilson. We also have Locked On Vikings After Dark. It gets real sultry with Luke and Arif. So let's see where Arif has my guy, Emmanuel McNeil-Warren, 24. See, I think if the Vikings execute that trade back and you take him around 24, I think that actually becomes a pretty good deal. And my intention in the trade back is to get in the 4th round. I want to have a pick where you can sit Friday night and figure out who's the best left on the board and go get that guy early in the 4th. That right now they have like a 60 pick gap between the 90s and the 150s, which I don't love. Talking about, I think the 4th round is probably the last round where you're going to find someone that could have an impact in 2026, like a good impact. And this is one of those middle heavy drafts too, where I think 25 to 125 is probably not as much disparity as other drafts. You're going to still find dudes that can contribute in that 4th round. So that's really one of my big emphases in a trade back. I think they get up to like 11 picks, to be honest with you. They got 9 going in. I set the over-under at 9.5 picks, and I think they go over it. Yeah.
Over. Chat's giving us a bombshell. Rams take Ty Simpson, quarterback, Alabama, at pick 13.
That is huge. I expected him to go in the 1st round, but that's interesting.
I had Steelers at 20.
Mm-hmm. I think it's a good fit.
It's just the thing about quarterbacks. He's not a 1st-round quarterback, but he's the only guy.
Yeah, who's the next? Now, when will the next quarterback be taken? Will the next quarterback go before pick 100, 150?
It could be like
Klubnik.
Was that the Tyler Shuck situation? No, the Spencer Rattler situation, where 6 of them go in the top 12, and then none of them until it was Rattler, like deep. Caden Proctor goes at 12. Is that what?
Yeah. So Proctor 12.
Wowza, that is astounding. Above Monroe Freeling, that far, and Vega-Iona. I don't know the tackles that well this year, so. Oh, yeah, somebody says Nussmeier at like 70. I could see that, actually. He gives me a lot of a Cody Kessler kind of, hey, maybe this guy works out, take him in the 3rd kind of vibe.
Kalshi had a market of Mendoza or Nussmeier. It was 99% Mendoza, but applause to the 1% that's stuck on.
You could make those just like anything. There's a donation. We got another friend. It's not Arif still, but it is Luke Inman.
What's up? GGYG, go get your guys.
Before Arif could.
That's crazy to me. That's crazy. Vegas had that at plus 800, I want to say. Sam, I feel like you might know those odds just a little bit better than most people.
Yeah, Kalshi also had one of those markets listed, and Arif was 90%. So pay the people that bought in. I got to turn these lights down. I'm way too bright. You guys talk.
You're like on the stage with Goodell right now. You're on the stage with Goodell.
Yeah.
First of all, GGYG, go get your guys. We made it. Luke,
big thoughts on the 2 trades?
Well, before I even get to that, I'll just say, I mean, you props to you. You've done so much work. You've put out such great content, all leading up to this day. So first of all, congratulations.
Well,
you
thank
made
you.
it. I know.
Hey, you too, man.
Yeah, appreciate that. I know, after this we'll have draft grades and team fits, scheme fits, UDFAs, but just want to take a moment just to recognize all your great work that you've done, Sam as well, Arif too, Consensus Big Board and everything else. But so far, honestly, the theme for me, I think these new head coaches, and I'm talking about 3 and 4, Cardinals and the Titans, they get the assignment. If we're going to go down, let's go down trying to score 30 points this time around and at least put some fans in the seats and be entertaining. You got LaFleur, new head coach, taking over in Arizona. Maybe surprise some people with Jeremiah Love. I don't think necessarily the team is ready for a premier running back, but nonetheless, he's going to help whatever quarterback they have. And obviously trying to help the passing game with Marvin Harrison Jr. and trying to get your money's worth out of that former top 5 pick. But, Brian Dable was fired in New York for not having a good offense. and not figuring out the offense and quarterback, I should say. And so was Robert Saleh in New York too. So I think they looked at each other and they were probably leaning more Love for sure. But once Love went off the board, I think they were happy to go get Carnell Tate. So those were kind of the two, I don't want to call them surprises by any means, but just for me, kind of set the tone of like, this is definitely a more offensive league. Not to say that defenses still don't win championships and they're not important, but I think if you're a head coach feeling some pressure, especially in your first year, especially with the quarterback situation, whether it's Arizona or Cam Ward too, you want to go get these guys some help. Look at New Orleans with Jordan Tyson, kind of same storyline there. We think we got a guy at quarterback. Let's go get him as much help as possible. So outside of that, I feel like we're starting to see the run on offensive linemen finally go. Started with 9. Didn't love the trade up value-wise for the Chiefs. You move on from Trent McDuffie, who I get it. I mean, he got paid the Brinks truck, but you get picked 29 for him, and then you use not only a top 10 pick, but you trade a 3rd and a 5th to go get. Okay, you think he's the number 1 corner in this draft, but I don't think he's necessarily regarded as like the premier kind of Darrelle Revis type of dude. We'll see. Obviously, time will tell, but didn't love the value for the Chiefs there. Did like the value for the Browns trading back and getting some extra picks. So far outside of that, though, kind of chalk a little bit. No crazy surprises on the board so far.
4 picks left until Minnesota, and Thieneman, McCoy, McNeil Warren, all on the board.
Well, let me ask you guys this, and I'm sure we've all talked about it at some point, but instead of getting into who we're targeting, which we'll have time to do that, who's a pick that you don't want? Who's a pick that, Sam's got the fire going. Okay. Who's a pick that you would not, who's a pick that you would just be like, I don't like that. I just don't like that pick. I'll start it off. For me, it'd be Peter Woods. I know Alec Lewis came on the squad show this morning. He talked about the need for defensive linemen, and who's kidding who? There's a need for almost every position for the Vikings you could justify. But Peter Woods got flung out, and for me, I just didn't love the tape last year, obviously. And obviously his junior tape was a lot better, or 2024 tape, I should say. But Peter Woods just would not excite me that much. So that would be a pick or a name that I would just feel a little lackluster. I'd feel pretty disappointed. I think defensive tackle's a position that you target in rounds 2 or 3.
Messidor is that would be my disappointment.
Okay.
I think a lot of steam about him going 15th to the Bucks.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So they might just do it. Look who's here.
I don't love the placement of the 4. It just feels unfamiliar and scary. I feel like Sam should be upper
Here,
left.
should we?
I do feel like, though, we can now
there it is.
We can now recreate our Michael Penix reaction screenshot.
That's true.
Now the crew is
3,
back. We've
2,
got the chemistry.
1.
Yeah.
Whoa!
All right, there we go.
All right, got it. You guys good?
Yeah,
we good?
No.
Since I'm in the producer's chair now,
good, great guys. Happy to jump in.
Invoices in the mail.
Arif, I'm gonna turn off your auto sound and I'm gonna bump you up a little bit on air production.
I'm gonna do that too.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Who's got the tip picks?
Chat, quick.
So we got our chats very well sourced up.
I've been getting the chat sometimes takes the tips from my spreadsheet, so I will say that.
That's the best compliment you can get. Let's be honest.
We're waiting now on 14 Baltimore.
Yeah,
in terms of, I don't know what's going on TV, but we got the Rams have picked Ty Simpson.
Baltimore consistently takes guys.
Wait a minute, that is the Michael Penix reaction shot.
We should have just told Luke. Did you not know that yet?
No. Oh, you didn't know about the Ty Simpson pick?
No.
Yeah, that happened. Ravens on the clocks. Ty Simpson to the Rams at 13.
Spicy. You know what's funny? You know what's going to happen? Everybody's going to say, okay, Matthew Stafford, the back injury, and he's getting obviously long in the tooth, and this is Ty Simpson's show in 20. Stafford's going to end up playing for like 4 more years. This is just how it works. Simpson's going to sit on the bench for 3-4 years, and
this is scene replacing Harrison Smith.
I missed it. Both of you guys talked the same time. I missed it.
We both made the same joke, but I just said it's like scene replacing Harrison Smith.
Baltimore's pick is in. I'm trying to figure out who.
Okay, is this Kenyon Sadiq territory right here?
This was a huge one for Sadiq. I actually had this being the Ruben Bain destination.
I can't. I gotta say that's a surprise to see Ruben Bain.
It sounds like
this far.
Baltimore did not pick Ruben Bain. I don't know,
Okay.
but Bain would be a very characteristic pick because A, they don't really care about the arm length stuff, and B, they constantly take consensus board fallers. That's like a thing that they seemingly have been able to.
Who's that?
to
DaCosta now? Ozzie. What's the old Ravens GM? Hall of Famer.
We think it might be
Ron
Makai
Johnson would
Lemon?
know.
I don't know.
Kai Lemon was their old GM.
Ozzie Newsome?
Well, so who's top on the consensus board right now?
Ruben Bain. After that, it's
Ruben
Makai
Bain,
Lemon, and then
Makai
Lemon.
Lemon.
And where is Bain at on the consensus? Is this
He's
a pretty
6th.
big fall? Okay.
6th. It's a big fall, but it's one that we kind of expected because of the off-field.
Well, the off-field a little bit, but also like some of it is just like some of these teams have like strict arm length requirements. Like Dallas, for example, doesn't care about Ruben Bain's off-field, but they do care about the arm length.
Luigi's asking if we want Sadiq to go.
To force the Vikings to trade that.
I'm not rooting for Sadiq necessarily at 18. But I think I'm just too biased by sticking your first round pick as tight end 3 for a year.
Ravens have selected Owane. Great pick for them.
Sam, let's continue that conversation, Sam, because we talked about that this morning on the squad show. For me, it feels like, I mean, you draft Sadiq, he's tight end 3 walking on the field day 1. You're paying Hawkinson $15 million. You're paying Josh Oliver $9 to $10 million. This feels like a chore for Kevin O'Connell to manufacture touches his first year, because there's always pressure on your first round pick to manufacture touches every week for a guy like Kenyon Sadiq. 6'2", 245, not necessarily. I know he can block. I get that, but not necessarily the prototypical. I guess for me, I almost have to talk myself into he is a hybrid tight end / receiver / weapon. That makes me a little bit more excited. That's what Alec Lewis was trying to point out. But for me, safety, corner, D line, whoever that may be, hopefully not Peter Woods. There's just more pressing needs. And I know we want to stay BPA and don't draft on needs, but I mean, for the most part, any of those other positions, it feels like you can pencil this guy in as pretty much a day 1 contributor, whether it's safety, corner, maybe he walks on as corner 3. I don't really care, but
Bengals are
Sadiq,
trading up?
it feels tough, don't you think, Sam?
What?
Sounds like
we have a trade up at 15.
That's what it seems
Bengals?
like. I can't
From
be
where?
confident about that.
Let's confirm that they would be coming from the clouds to move up.
Or is this like
that far?
That's pick 41.
Is this like a Jamar Chase blockbuster? Joe Burrow traded.
That would be amazing.
T. Higgins, finally.
It would be
done with the franchise
unbelievable
tag.
for me personally if the Bengals traded Jamar Chase before the Vikings traded Justin Jefferson.
That would be really funny.
Oh, okay. Do we have to stay on through, and I don't know what your intention was anyway, maybe you were going to do this anyway, staying through 23 in case the rumored Grenard deal comes to fruition?
I intend to be here through the whole night, through pick 32. So,
hey, who's kidding who?
You guys are free to do what you want.
The Vikings might get on at 18 and trade back 10 spots anyways.
Yeah, might trade back, trade back up.
If they do that, I'll stream. I'm gonna get in the hot tub and soak. This chair is too uncomfortable. I'll do the stream from the hot tub.
What is the latest on the Jonathan Grenard? Pick 23?
So Ollie Connolly at the read optional and John Ledyard.
I heard about this, but I thought it was more like a day
maybe
two,
that
pick.
just that. Oh, that trade is happening. Like they seemed very sure that there's a trade happening. Okay. What the trade would actually be, there's no new info that we didn't already know that I know of, at least.
Got it. I thought I heard that it was leaning towards like, oh, it's not going to be announced till day 2 or day 3, meaning that it wouldn't be a day 2 or day 3 pick.
Ollie basically said it was a done deal and then was surprised to learn it wasn't publicly reported. Like that's
I did read that little transcript part. Oh no, Ollie. Oh no.
Ollie is also the guy that reported the Caleb Downs knee stuff at the combine, if I recall.
No, that was Corey Kinnan.
Oh, that was Corey Kinnan? My bad.
Yeah, Ollie reported the Ruben Bain stuff.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
All right, how do we feel about that?
About which?
Well,
we'll see what the deal
Grenard
is.
For 23, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
If it's Grenard for 23 straight up, that feels like a coup based on.
Yeah, that
That's
would
a
be
win.
insane. No, there's
No
no.
doubt.
That
chance
feels
would
like
happen.
the
No
Bengals
doubt.
did us a favor by trading what they traded for Dexter Lawrence.
Brzezinski, Howie. Brzezinski, wow, pulled a Howie.
Yeah, honestly, that's like a pretty big feather in the cap if Briz wants
No
the
doubt.
job. If he Howie's Howie.
I think Lawrence did set the market in some way. Like it's a star defensive lineman, 28 years old, 2 years left on his deal, similar contracts. Like there's some. I know Lawrence is better at his position than Grenard is at his, but it does set kind of a similar precedent. So the Vikings have to be asking for 23. Like that should probably be the only thing they accept.
The problem is, to your point, Sam, you're right. The fall off from 23 to the Eagles' next pick is so big. 23 to what, 56, I want to say. Let me pull it up just to confirm. 54. That's so big. As we've talked about on the Squad Show numerous times, I don't think you're making your team better, at least in 2026 by any means. Trading Jonathan Grenard for a late second. Brzezinski said he wanted a premium day 2 pick. Obviously, 23 would be that and more. So, interested to see how all that plays out for sure as well.
Bucks select Ruben Bain.
There it is. Okay.
Okay.
So no
Well,
Bengals.
they liked Messidor a lot. I bet they probably didn't think they could get the other Miami guy.
So that narrows it even further.
I feel like this draft is
Vikings
rolling
will have
here.
either McCoy, Thieneman, or McNeil Warren if they want.
Yeah, a little fall on McCoy here. Not a
Did
huge
you see
surprise.
his over under though today?
No, I didn't.
It plummeted to FanDuel 32.5.
Wow.
So the thing,
Yeah.
so this is why I think Delane, like they traded up for Delane, is I think that there may be a medical on both Terrell and McCoy, and if you've got medical disqualifiers on both of those cornerbacks, there is
This is
barren landscape in the
this is
first
it.
round, and so you do have to trade up because the Chiefs were getting word that the Commanders were interested in Delane. So you absolutely,
It's usually something like that. Like they think
Yeah.
someone's going to do it. Like the lie Sean Payton told about J.J. McCarthy.
manipulated them. Yeah.
Yeah. Nobody believes you, Sean, and we haven't for years, but you know.
Yeah, but yeah. So I think that might be the case. Is that there's medicals on both of those. Like that would be what
That makes
trading
sense.
up for Delane would suggest to me.
That makes sense.
I
Still
like
got a
this
hard time
position
saying why
in
not just keep McDuffie, even though the price tag was a monster,
I think price tag was a lot.
and keeping your 9 and still getting a different premium player. But just feels like a lot of pressure now on Delane to come in and be an impact player year 1, which I'm not saying he can't by any means, but just a lot of pressure. Didn't feel like great value either. But that
which
is the
player-
draft. McCoy over under. Can you say it one more time? 31 and a half?
32 and a half.
It was.
It's just first round or
First
not.
round.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's got to be the question, and it's so hard to speculate on that.
If you're a
that's how
team
place
like
FanDuel makes
Seattle,
money.
just won the Super Bowl, and somebody like that falls in your lap, unless the medicals are just toast, unless the medicals are really rough.
I think the worry is he'll need another knee surgery, and are you willing to facilitate that?
Boy.
I don't think it's like different because Will Johnson's we don't know if this is going to hold up long term, and it was more of a like ever present issue.
Yeah.
This could be fine after another procedure. Is my understanding of it.
Depends what the procedure is. It a cleanup or is it like a full?
So
I don't know.
It sounds like enough of a surgery that it could impact his 2026 availability in full.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
And so it wouldn't just be like a scope or a cleanup or whatever, right? So that part is like publicly reported and stuff like that. I have also heard whispers, right? Unconfirmed, unverified, that there is something potentially degenerative about the knee as well. So that combination of a lack of early availability and an implication for later availability does make it a pretty tough sell.
Woof.
But there's a lot of people, at least that have been in like these chats and YouTube comments and stuff, that are really mad about the Vikings passing on Will Johnson because he played so well for the Cardinals in his rookie year. Here's your mulligan.
Arif, what are you hearing on Caleb Banks's foot or injury concerns, I guess. And I
Yeah,
think one of you two
I would
just
love to hear about
mentioned
some feet.
Avion Terrell as well with some medicals. I'm just curious if you heard any latest or how severe, I guess.
Yeah. The stuff I've heard on Banks's injuries don't seem to be anything that isn't already public information. Teams are worried about the fact that it's both feet. And they don't love, I guess, his level of play for where I think a lot of us kind of had figured he was going to go early in this draft cycle. Like a lot of people had figured him as like a mid-20s kind of pick, and the level of play hasn't really matched that. And then on top of that, sounds like concerns about both injuries, maybe a concern about effort level. I don't know, but nothing like Tavondre Sweat level concern about effort like that. It wouldn't be like that, but some issues. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm already getting the butterflies about Detroit taking Lemon here and getting baby Amon-Ra. I think that's the pick that makes me nervous at this point. I'm starting to
seems
feel
redundant with
They
Jameis.
Are you just saying that because
super
they both
hell-bent
can have
on
like the
offensive
same
line.
look on their face, and that's why you've compared Amon-Ra and Lemon?
I'm not the only one who's done that. I think we talked
Okay,
about
but that
this
doesn't
10
answer
minutes
my
ago.
question.
Well, they're
is a
both
common
USC. They've got common traits and maybe physical similarities.
I will
Also,
say,
to
as
answer your
much
question,
as
Luke.
yeah, okay, go
I
ahead.
have not heard anything on Terrell.
Okay.
Whatever is in Dane's draft guide about the multiple injuries and that concerning, that's all I know.
As much as the Vikings have been linked to Dylan Thieneman in all these mock drafts, right? That was kind of the talk of the town
Jets
the
take
last
Sadiq.
48 hours. The Lions have been linked with an offensive lineman, whether it's Monroe Freeling or the Penn State kid who already went. I know, but
If the Jets don't take Freeling, I'm
The Jets
slamming
took
that to the
Sadiq.
Lions.
The Jets took Sadiq.
The Jets took Sadiq. All right, there he goes.
wow.
That's a discourse I'm pretty glad I don't have to have for 4 months now.
And Thieneman's over-under was 18.5, right, Sam?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And in the first version of the consensus board, he was ranked 18th. It was kind of perfect. He's 17 now, but it felt
Great value. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Fall
Yeah,
to
no, what
18.
amazing
Oh, my
value.
God.
I am pretty glad. I could see him working out pretty well for the Jets. Actually, I think that's a really good landing spot for him. But I'm pretty glad that now the Vikings look really motivated to get one of these third-round tight ends, because I really like the value in these mid-round guys.
Me too.
These like blocker dudes.
I'm a Sam Roush guy. Stanford.
Sam Roush.
Yeah.
But there's Oscar Delp. There's the kid from Ohio State who's a great blocker with good hands.
Two good blockers from Ohio State.
Yeah, two good blockers from Ohio State.
There's Raritan if you don't mind that he had a couple ACLs a few years ago.
Couple.
What annoys me
Two
if I'm a
straight
Jets
full
fan,
seasons in a row. Like he might be past it, but
If
he
I'm a
also has a
Jets fan-
horrible drops issue, which is probably a bigger problem.
you just used a second-round pick last year on Mason Taylor from LSU, a tight end, and two totally different play styles, right? We just talked about Sadiq can be more of a weapon, a pseudo receiver, but it just doesn't feel like good roster management.
I think those two can be complementary to
I
each
think they
other.
can too. And again, I'm being counterintuitive, playing devil's advocate here, but just in general, you're right. I feel like if I'm a Jets fan, it just feels like, boy, we're really investing a lot of early. That's premium capital, 18 and last year's second, and we got a lot of needs to figure out here. Our team is in shambles roster-wise. What are we doing? Drafted two tight ends in the top 40 picks back-to-back years. But you're right, two totally different players.
So I would imagine that the Lions are picking either Freeling or Blake Miller. Those both feel like very Lions
Yeah.
picks.
Could see an edge rusher to try to pair somebody with.
They're
Is this the
Hutchinson.
Miami guy?
They're
Messidor?
so behind on offensive line right now. Like you can,
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can have one edge rusher. You can't have one tackle.
And this is because their left tackle bailed out, right? What's his name?
Yeah, well they
been there
cut
for
him,
10
right?
years.
They
Yeah.
didn't.
Oh, they cut him.
We-
Yes.
And
Still-
we
now
really
they're moving-
probably should discuss Mekhi Lemon as a Viking a little more, because that's like a pretty good possibility now, unless the Lions do it. He'll
I
be on
mentioned
the
him
board.
on After Dark.
Yeah, I know you
as
like
a-
it a lot, Arif.
Yeah, I do. I like him. I think he's
Yeah.
a good player. I mean, his personality, his public-facing personality that we've seen on like podium interviews and stuff like that, does rub me the wrong way. But I don't care about that. Who cares?
Yeah.
He's
Highest
a-
left on the consensus board, by the way.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that he finds a way to get open. I think that his running style inhibits his speed, and I don't think you should mess with that because that might be why he gets open. Like it's fine that he's not gonna ever turn in a 4-3 or whatever like that. But I do think that his understanding of space and his ability to manipulate defensive backs is kind of reminiscent of all of the Vikings receiver picks aside from Ty Felton. And I think that you can craft an offense for this guy's wide receiver 2 or 3 pretty easily because he already does know how to operate in an offense as a number 1, even though he doesn't really have, the top end speed that you necessarily want. I'm talking about him like he's a slow player. He's not, but I don't know. I like him a lot. I like the pick. But you do have to have if that's the pick, you have to have a plan for how you're going to resolve like defensive tackle and safety and depth at cornerback. Like that is important. Like that you figure the rest of that out, which maybe that's a Jonathan Grenard trade kind of situation where you get a second round pick, grab a safety, whatever.
For how much he gets labeled as a slot guy, which he should, right? 75% of his snaps at USC were in the slot.
Blake Miller to the Lions.
It was
Blake Miller.
Okay.
So Freeling is falling hard.
Yeah.
Wow, that surprises me.
That could be the guy that somebody wants to trade up for.
I was just going to
feels
say,
like
are now on the clock, so tab over, everybody.
I was just going to say, Lemon is so strong for how, again, you hear the slot label, smaller dude, quicker, shiftier. He is so strong, not only at the point of the attack, but just the strong hands to go up and get it. I mean, this was a what? Where's he at in the consensus, Arif? Top 15 guy all day long.
Yeah, Lemon is 12.
He's 12.
All day
And
long.
KOC can't resist.
Another
KOC
USC
will love
boy.
this.
Yeah, and I like him more than the guy the Saints took, Jordan Tyson, who I don't dislike.
Yeah.
By the way, but I
Yeah.
like Lemon more than Tyson.
For anybody just joining us, because the Vikings are now, I think, in the real world on the clock, not quite yet on your TV, but they're up. Some of the top names remaining would be Mekhi Lemon, the USC wide receiver, Dylan Thieneman, Oregon safety that we've talked about a ton, Monroe Freeling, Georgia tackle, Kedrick Falk, Auburn edge rusher, Avion Terrell, Clemson corner, Jermod McCoy, Tennessee corner, and then it gets pretty open from there.
So I have an Eagles beat writer in my DM saying they wouldn't be shocked if the Eagles tried to trade up to 18.
That could be part of a Grenard trade.
Yeah.
That'll be interesting.
I checked the important stuff
Be a
on
lot of
Mekhi
stuff
Lemon.
back, but
He
Yeah,
threw a
you'd have to do
touchdown
all
last
that.
year.
Like
Well, they should be
the
sprinting.
Vikings-
They should
if
be
it's like
sprinting
18
to
for
the
what
podium.
pick the Eagles have? 23 or whatever? If it was 18 for 23 and a third, no, it'd have to be at least a second and change if you were adding Grenard in there, right?
If you were adding Grenard and moving back to 23,
Yeah, you'd have
Is
to
that-
get a second and maybe a fourth and a sixth at least.
I don't think the Vikings would surrender their first round pick in that deal. Do you? I feel like that'd be.
If you're going to trade twice, it feels like you got to do it all at once. Like obviously the Vikings are losing value in the first round going to 23, and then if you trade something else, you have to get a lot of value back. So it'd be like a
Like
second
you don't
and
gift a
fourth.
baseball
Reggie's
with a
here.
baseball glove, right? You don't do it.
Gang's
separately,
all here.
right?
Reggie,
Gang is all here.
Sadiq is gone.
your guy's
Well,
gone. Julia's going to come by too after the pick, I think, and the pressers and stuff.
Well, did you guys discuss already about the Ty Simpson? Like, did we expect that?
Crazy.
No, that was our Michael Penix reaction we had 2 years ago when he went
Like, what?
when he went 7.
How does that make you feel as a
Quarterbacks,
former
man.
St. Louis Rams fan?
So I was talking to, so my brother is at the draft right now with the Colts, and he is still a diehard Rams fan. He said he was hot, like he was hot. He texted family group chat like, "I'm hot." Lemon was right there, like he was like, of course,
yeah.
Lemon was a greedy pick. He's like, but like, you got a guy, you got this championship window with Stafford, and you draft a quarterback who's not going to help you anytime soon. It just seemed kind of like an arrogant pick to me.
If you want to draft the succession plan to a legend, yeah, like you're kind of between a rock and a hard place, right? Like you need to use that capital.
But is that the guy?
Yeah. You need to
15
do it
starts.
with
That's
somebody
that's the thing for,
like Jordan
me
Love.
is that
That's not well regarded.
If it was a quarterback I liked, I think I would be a little bit more open. Like,
Yeah,
it's not the
the
question
idea of
taking...
quarterback is fine. It's how
right.
you feel
Does
about the
does
guy.
this push up Carson Beck now at all at quarterback 3? Does
He
Arizona
was getting like steam yesterday,
No.
right? Like,
does
that
Arizona
felt like
trade
agent
back up and
foolery?
yeah.
well,
I mean, Ty Simpson got Ram steam earlier today. Was it Breer who was like, "Hey,
Yes.
Sean McVay thinks this guy's a first-round quarterback," and I was like, "What?
Mhm.
What? Why does he matter? Who cares?"
Reggie, I joke like you use a top 12 pick on a quarterback. Watch, Matt Stafford's going to play for another 4 years. He's just going to sit.
That's what I'm saying. Like it last year, you thought, oh man, he might be done that back, and then he plays every game of the season, and
MVP
they
type season.
almost make they almost make a run. He is the MVP. Like, okay, then you draft right after MVP season, you draft a quarterback. Cool.
What if Brzezinski lets the clock run out on the pick?
Uh,
His one
Just an
draft.
honor. Just an
Yeah,
honor.
that's his legend. That's his legacy.
He's working the phones like crazy right now. This is absolutely trade back zone.
And
Luigi
again,
Monroe
if
wants
they
Jacob
do trade
Rodriguez.
back, who's trading up? For who? I mean, like who's trading up? Is it Thieneman?
I would
The
say
Eagles could be
Freeland
trading
Lemon.
or
Freeland.
Lemon are both big trade up targets right now.
Yeah, Freeman falling this far.
And they're
surprising.
probably trying to work the phones for those deals, which I would guess that they use their whole clock.
Yeah, I will say it feels like this draft is cruising.
Now it does.
that 8 minutes helped, right?
This
The 8
draft has
minutes did
been
help.
really fast. Like after the requisite 6 minutes for the first overall pick, they just
Right.
went.
Yeah.
You know?
Bang, bang, bang.
Yeah, I'm used to it being like maybe like 9:30 right now for pick
Yeah.
17, 18.
Mhm.
Who do we think the Lions pick here?
Oh, he doesn't
We already know.
Oh, it's Blake Miller.
offensive
This is a
tackle,
league-friendly
Clemson.
podcast. They picked Blake Miller.
Spoiler friendly
Okay.
podcast. So we're going to know
Oh,
as soon
okay.
as
Okay.
it leaks on Twitter.
Which that was about what 6
Alec
minutes ago.
Lewis says Caleb Banks.
Oh my goodness. Alec would
That
know.
would-
that is
was-
official.
Is that it? Didn't we talk about that today?
We did.
Yes.
Did. Alec was on defensive line today. It felt like he knew something.
That's oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That is a gigantic reach. 37th on the
Polarizing.
consensus board.
That's polarizing, as they say.
polarizing.
Huge
Yes.
interior defensive lineman.
Yuck.
Interesting.
I don't like it.
He's 23. He's old.
6'6".
Not a
Interesting.
great track record of pressuring the passer at
Hey,
a high
wait a
rate.
minute,
Couple
though.
decent years.
This
Boy.
is this
And there
different
is
skill
your
set? But here's your Sharif Floyd defensive tackle Gators 2013.
that's your
Right around the
comeuppance
same-
for trading
That's
away
your
Harrison
Sharif
Phillips,
Floyd.
I think.
All
right
right,
around
man.
the same era, right? Sharif was what 23, I want to say. Boy, they couldn't trade back, huh?
Dad, they
Couldn't
must have
trade
been
back,
working
and
those
they
phones,
just
right?
reached like crazy on a guy with 2 bad feet.
I don't get it. I there's so much pressure for them to hit this first pick
Is
after
that-
4 years of bad drafting, and they take such a gamble on such a risky prospect. I don't get it. I don't like it.
At
So
least we know like Luke has another article, right? We got a feet guy already, so
Crap. Oh my god, I
Does
really have
Rex
to,
Ryan like
I have to
this
write
guy?
like
Or
truly
hate
about
this
feet,
guy?
don't I?
yeah.
I have to write about stress
Look-
fractures.
Quote from a scout: looked heavier and slower in 2025 when he dealt with foot injury. Limited him to 96 snaps. So you're going off of basically 800 snaps over 2 years, 2023, 2024 at Florida.
Injured left foot during 2025 spring practices and wore a boot for a few weeks. Foot then fully snapped during fall camp,
That's what you.
Oh, that's great.
That's
That's
what you
great.
which forced him to sit out the first 2 games of 2025. Returned for LSU, but re-aggravated the injury, needed surgery. Then fractured fourth metatarsal and left foot the night before on-field testing at the combine. Underwent surgery, which will sideline him until June, which we did know about.
Boy, I would have.
Interesting.
And I know people don't like nose tackles in the first, but I would have been much happier with Cade McDonald.
How do we feel if we knew, if there were no medicals, if God told you this was going to be okay? How do we feel about the guy?
I don't love
at
it. I
18
think if you
anyways?
draft the nose tackle in the first round, like they have to be at worst like Travis Jones at UConn, right? And he wasn't playing like that. I think that like, and it doesn't have to be like a Jordan Davis. That's like a really high level to try and hit, or Dexter Lawrence, but like wasn't playing at that level at all. He had a much better, year in 24 before the foot injuries, but like, I don't see it. Obviously the Vikings want to replace Harrison Phillips. They want to pair someone with Jalen Redmond. I just don't like it.
If healthy, I will say should be a day one guy. Should step on the field if healthy, right?
You would love it if the small sample size guy was not already 23, right? Like you would love the kind of the gamble to be a little younger, a little more upside.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of red flags here. This is a big Brzezinski.
It's
swing.
just a risk.
It could work out.
I got to pull away, and I'll be back in 15-ish minutes, but I got to pull away for some network stuff.
I'm so surprised.
We'll manage without you.
That Rob Brzezinski's, appetite for risk with this first pick was that big to take a swing on Caleb Banks, who again,
the job, isn't he? He's keeping the job, isn't he?
Man,
he knows he's secure. It's going to be an expeditious search.
He's got a 4-year deal already in his back pocket.
Right. So I see Alec had a tweet. He said, I had one person who worked at Florida in 2025 say succinctly today, unicorn. Hasn't put it all together, but if he does, okay.
He's a unicorn in theory, right?
Yeah. I mean, so they did have a need there. Like we've talked about this for I feel like the last 2 months that the Vikings had a need at interior defensive line. Okay. I mean, Kevin O'Connell's been talking about it since, the playoffs a couple years ago. We got to secure the interior of the defensive and offensive lines. So we get that. But it is quite the swing, and it does tell you, Sam, to your point, you felt like you could get good value at safety day 2, day 3. So it tells you maybe they feel the same way because 2 of the top safeties are there, and they were mocked earlier and by you guys, and they choose the injury risk boomer bust type prospect.
Yeah.
Right. So they draft on Kyle. They pass on Kyle Hamilton and now Thieneman. So we'll see.
Well, yeah, they don't like these first round safeties apparently.
Well,
and
they do.
Well,
just, they drafted Lewis Cine though. So they kind of do.
But,
top 20 first round safeties.
There you go. Okay,
right, yeah, like they waited, right? And I think that's relevant. But this does happen to safeties all the time. Like you take a look at how safeties have looked on whatever board, like the consensus board or whatever, right? And unless it's like Derwin James, right? Mm-hmm. They almost always fall relative.
Even Derwin was like top 5 prospect, but went 18.
Yeah.
Kyle Hamilton, top 5 prospect, top 5 player in the draft.
Jamal Adams was like the last, which that didn't work out. Yeah. But safeties just fall relative to kind of their pure talent rating or their big board ranking, whatever you want to call it. So it is not shocking to me that Thieneman, falls from this spot, or that Downs fell, right? Mm-hmm. And that Emmanuel McNeil-Warren might be a little bit later too. But the Caleb Banks one is shocking, especially because this is like at the top of the second round. There are a lot of potential nose tackles, which I keep calling him nose tackle because he's like 327 pounds. That is his NFL, projection. He did play in the B gap at Florida a lot, right? I doubt that's his NFL role, but want to put that out there and acknowledge that. But there are a ton of nose tackles. There's like Lee Hunter and, like you mentioned, Caden McDonald. And just like down the line, we've got like a couple near the top of like the second round. If you wanted to wait even more, Dominique Orange, who I don't love, but I think for value is not like a bad pick, right? And then there's Kristen Miller from Georgia. Like there's a lot of nose tackles. So I just find this pick really interesting, unless they think that they've got, maybe they can make him lose like a couple of pounds and have him play 3. But he doesn't have the pressure numbers for me to feel comfortable with that playing from the B gap. So no. I don't know. It's a strange pick for me.
It's a strange pick. I don't like it. I will say, trying to find a positive in general, I feel like the blueprint is you should try to build through the trenches. But again, that just wasn't
Tell Arizona that.
Yeah, no doubt, right? But that wasn't a hot topic for us at 18 just because we don't need offensive line. So that's one side of the trenches. That's half, 50%. The other half, it's just not a strong defensive line class. So that's why it just felt like, sure, if you love a guy, but it didn't feel like great value. Just knowing it's a subpar defensive line or defensive tackle draft class this year. So it didn't really add up a ton. But in general, I feel like good teams, the best teams in the league, they do try to build through those trenches as much as possible.
Freeling to the Panthers, speaking of trenches.
We got a very biting wow from Daniel Jeremiah on the broadcast in NFL Network. Said he was his 51st player on the board. A lot of people are going to have the Vikings as one of their losers of the night, I think. This is
the Vikings will get D's and F's for this pick. This will be one where the player has to produce. But I think the body of work after tomorrow that the Vikings come out with, if they come out with, let's say it's 4 or 5 picks, maybe they make another trade back and get a 5th pick in the top 100. I think if you take stock after tomorrow and you've got a safety, you've got a center, and you've got a receiver, I think that could still be an exciting first 2 days. But the overnight ratings tonight on Brzezinski's performance are not going to be good.
Again, this feels a little bit like Flores fell in love with a guy, which has worked out in the past, so maybe that can work. But I think I didn't catch what you were saying, Luke, but I might make a similar point here that the value proposition is really difficult to defend. DJ Reader's right there. You could have just not traded Harrison Phillips. You got a 5th back for that. This is just not a very good way to
build your roster,
kind of like build value out of your resources. It feels like they're just hemorrhaging on this for a guy who might be hurt all the time, and then you're going to have to spend more to replace him after that. That is also not necessarily the thing I want to do if I'm like gunning for this job long term, is to just like let somebody else make the pick.
Yeah, it's interesting because it's not best player available. It was drafting for need, and we always know when you draft for need, it's not necessarily a good equation there. And it just, I don't know, either Rob feels very secure that, the job is his, and he just, he wanted to take a calculated risk. Either it's that, or maybe he doesn't want the job. He's just doing what he has to do. Or maybe he's just temporarily insane, and he just, he picked with his heart and just, hopes it works out.
I do think that this is a Flores pick. Like, I do think that he is deferring to, the coaches, and Flores fell in love with the guy, which, like, I deeply sympathize with that being like kind of like, hey, we've got an amazing defensive coach, let him kind of evaluate the players, and I understand. But like, one of the things I've learned covering the NFL is that coaches are not like remarkably great evaluators of draft talent. When Mike Zimmer forced a couple of picks, some of them worked out, some of them super did not, right? And he's a wonderful coach of defensive backs, which does not mean he was a wonderful evaluator of defensive backs, right? The other thing is that even if you are a good evaluator, you might not be good at valuation, which is actually the primary job of a general manager. It's not just to figure out how good a guy is, but to figure out how many resources you're willing to move to grab a guy that you like. And that's the area that really concerns me, is because I think Caleb Banks is worth a pick at the top of the 2nd round, which means I think he's a pretty good player. But I just don't think when you've got resources and capital at pick 18 that is a move you should make in a world where you can move around in the draft. Like with all of the nose tackles available in the draft, and with all of the fluidity you have in motion, because we know now that the Eagles have traded up for Mekhi Lemon, we know that the Eagles may have been a team willing to trade up, so they were possibly trade up partners, right? What are you doing? I don't know.
Yeah, what are you doing? Dane Brugler in the Beast says he's out until June.
Sorry,
June
Luke, I have to go again really quick.
Yeah.
So before I have to go again, just really quick, with guys like Mekhi Lemon and Monroe Freeling on the board, I really think that if you had an actual GM in the chair, you could have taken better advantage of that situation, because Monroe Freeling just went to the Panthers. You will never be able to tell me that someone didn't want to come up.
Yes.
And I don't know if they had the right connections. I don't know if they had the right phone lines open because you don't have all 31 all the time. So I feel like this is further kind of cementing my take here, which is that the Vikings are extremely low on resources when it just comes to like bandwidth in their front office, because there isn't a guy in charge. And then they just went with whoever won the argument, because I bet Kevin O'Connell and Brian Flores were debating in that war room. Flores won the argument, and that's what you get when nobody's in charge. It's just like playing a game of Mafia. I will be right back.
See you, Brian.
Yeah, to his point,
Mic
would have loved to
drop.
have been a fly on the wall, right? Just to hear that conversation.
Yeah.
If it really was KOC versus Flores, if that's really what it came down to. I'm sure all these conversations have happened behind the scenes weeks leading up to the draft. I'm sure it wasn't, we're on the clock, let's have this conversation now. But would have loved to have been a fly on the wall there for sure.
AJ Brown is
something
so
that we-
gone, right? Makai Leonard to the Eagles.
Makai to Philly.
So
yeah.
we know that like it probably would have been possible to trade that pick to the Eagles but yeah, Diana Rossini's manipulations worked. AJ Brown is probably gone. Because the Eagles, like, they also grabbed the receiver in free agency too, right? So they got like Devonta Smith. Who did they grab in free
Traded
agency?
for Wicks.
That was it. It was they traded for Dante
Hollywood Brown.
They have Hollywood. Like, yeah, I think that AJ Brown is gone. But like, I think that it was kind of really relatively well known that agreement was already in place, and they're just waiting until June 1st. But yeah, that like basically confirms it. But yeah, no, Luke and I talked about this on the After Dark show, that like, it's probably, without a true general manager in place, it probably is force of personality issue, at which point we did speculate that Brian Flores is very likely to win a debate, just because in terms of force of personality, like, who are the key decision makers here of the most, and that's Brian Flores.
Well, we were told that it was the same setup as previous years, just with a different guy making the final.
I'm sure you were told
call.
that.
And well, no, I'm saying, is it that different from what it was? Was it
No,
always?
I think
the only difference is that you had one guy who was in the chair for 4 years, who had a lot of priors with those people, knew how they talked, knew when to push back, right? And probably felt empowered to do so because of his perceived security. We just don't know like how Brzezinski's feeling in his chair, whether he wants to be something more. It's an uncomfortable position because it's not just the draft, it's extensions, right? It's handling stuff post June 1, finishing out this roster. Like, if someone else inherits this, they're going to have probably a totally different idea of what to do with this team than Rob Brzezinski. A lot of curious factors. But what do you guys, if you guys had Caden McDonald versus Caleb Banks, would you have gone Banks or would you have gone McDonald? If given,
I was a McDonald guy. I've gone on record with that. And again, it's not to say that Caleb Banks doesn't have a higher ceiling, but these injury concerns just scare the heck out of you. Even when he was healthy 2 years ago in 2024, I'll pull it up, but the production from what I remember wasn't that crazy. It wasn't that spectacular. 10 tackles for loss, 3 sacks. The last 2 years combined, he played 3 games, just to, put that into context. So 15 games total the last 2 years, 10 and a half tackles for loss, 3.5 sacks. The production wasn't crazy. I was more of a Caden McDonald guy. It doesn't give you maybe the pass rush that you covet, especially if you're using a first-round pick on a defensive lineman. But I just know what I'm getting. I just feel so much better about first and second down with that run-stopping nose tackle right in the middle. So between that and the injury concerns, I was more of a McDonald guy. Even at 18, though, Sam, I wasn't super in love with McDonald that high in the draft. More of like a trade back at least 3, 4, 5 spots and then pull the trigger.
Yeah, I'm in the same spot. I just straight up, even healthy, I preferred Caden McDonald. I think, there's like a couple of reasons. Like, aside from like the certainty, the relative certainty, you're never certain about a player, but the relative certainty of his health versus somebody like Caleb Banks. Aside from that, there's more certainty because Ken McDonald has played a lot more nose tackle, like in college. And that is the projected role, right? Again, we could be wrong, and Caleb Banks could be reprising his 3-technique role from college, but I very confidently believe that he'll be a nose tackle. But we have more of that, and in that nose tackle spot, he did a better job taking on double teams and remaining anchored, right? I thought he did a better job kind of getting into the backfield to redirect running back. Not a ton of production, of course, but like as a nose tackle, you're not looking at like tackle numbers and tackles for a lot or whatever, right? Those are nice to haves for a nose tackle. But I don't really like, unless it's a Dexter Lawrence or a Jordan Davis or even a Travis Jones, I don't like drafting a nose tackle in the first round. I just don't. But if you were forced to do it at 18, I would have preferred it to be Caden McDonald over Caleb Banks.
Yeah,
Thieneman's still on the board here.
Yeah, what happened to 21? Do we have that yet?
I don't. Maybe Arif does. Maybe this is Flores' Christian Wilkins, right? From
Steelers select Maxi Iheanacho, which, okay, that I think was...
Boy, Steelers have invested a lot into their offensive line in the past.
Yeah,
trying to get Rodgers to come back.
Yep. Well, they traded for Michael Pittman. Now they use the first-round pick on a tackle. Makes sense.
This was the tackle that Mike Vrabel was like fighting at the Arizona State Pro Day. Do you remember that video?
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Fantastic.
Actually, like a fun video. Honestly, I liked it.
It was kind of fun. It's got a sneak peek into maybe some of his personal affairs, but we'll leave that alone.
He was just kind of letting it out. We got a lot of stuff going on. He's like just kind of letting it out.
Yeah.
So, what was he doing in Arizona? Do you think, Reggie?
I don't know. Maybe some private investigators would be able to figure that one out.
So Sam and Reggie, I feel like we got to give Alec Lewis his flowers because he didn't tip the pick. Obviously, he didn't know, but he definitely. When we went through our final projections, me and Sam took a safety, Emmanuel McNeil-Warren. Reggie, you took the tight end, and he was a little not flabbergasted, but like, whoa, none of you guys are going to throw out a defensive lineman. I think it's a lot more bigger pressing need than maybe we're letting on. And I think the Vikings, I mean, he kind of tied it all together that it coloring between the lines a little bit, reading between the lines, I should say, that the Vikings were going to be a lot more maybe tuned in or dialed into a defensive tackle with this first pick. Didn't it seem that way when Alec was kind of breaking it down?
Yeah, he said he wouldn't he wouldn't be surprised, but he threw the possibility out there. It's like, oh, okay. All right. That's something. Yeah, usually, go get your guys. Shout out Spinman, but BPA instead of drafting for need. I don't know, man. We may look back at this in 5 years, and he was the best player to come out of the draft. Yeah. But as it stands right now, big man with bad feet, that's scary. That's scary. It's just like, all right, watch out. If he puts it all together, watch out.
So the injuries say he should be ready to roll in June. So you would think if all things go right and he's healthy all the way through training camp, OTAs, preseason, he's a day one starter. They're penciling him in as a day one starter. You don't.
Well, who's
you don't
competing
draft
with him?
him.
Levi Drake.
Yeah, I mean, hard to imagine him not.
I mean, yeah.
And maybe he forms just this dynamic duo of interior disruptors with Jalen Redmond. But I don't know. It's hard to predict. You just want to know that the foot is all good. I don't know.
The way that this training staff operates too, I don't think you see him till training camp. Even if there are OTAs that he's eligible for, not going to do it.
And maybe this is confidence in that. We've seen them bring in guys who have had injury problems other than Marcus Davenport, come in and, they get them up to snuff and they have great seasons. We've seen it, but I just don't know. Maybe this is just them having confidence in their sports science staff and their training staff that they'll work with this guy, get him at the top shelf, and he'll be good to go. But it's just a lot of question marks there.
Get him in that cryotherapy chamber. That's what they need.
I did just have an analytics
guy
text me. I'm so sorry, Arif. Firing Kwesi did not stop the bad drafting. So
how about that?
We know
man.
a couple of people in analytics stand on.
Couple hours into the draft,
2 years in a row, because we argued that they should have traded back last year. Did we not? We said, because wasn't there a trade right after?
There was a huge one with
just like what just happened.
Yeah, but there was
for James Pierce. Yeah,
there was reporting that trade only occurred because they were waiting for Donovan Jackson. When Donovan Jackson was taken off the board, they decided to trade down. So there was that element of it, I think, which I don't think we're going to hear about Caleb Banks, if I'm being honest.
Are you saying they wanted Donovan Jackson?
Yeah. So it was
he was on the clock when the Vikings were on the clock.
Yeah.
Right?
The Texans wanted Donovan Jackson. So the fact that the Texans traded out after the Vikings picked is not a signal that the Vikings would have been able to have their cake and eat it too, is what I was getting at. And also that the league generally viewed Donovan Jackson better than, say, the consensus board, which also may have had him around pick 37 or number 37. Let me find out. That would be really funny.
Do you think Tim Conley has enough PTO for the Wolves to hop over during April and do the dirty work for the Minnesota Vikings? Timberwolves, by the way, up 21-9 with a minute 22 left in the first quarter.
I have a hot take.
Nuggets have 9.
I have a hot take. Have a GM for the draft next time. Maybe.
That's crazy.
That's controversial.
And practice before all your
games.
Poll.
Let the Minnesota fans do it for you.
Orno's here.
Right?
Just let consensus do the work.
Oh my, there's way too many people here.
Yeah, let's go.
Ron, you gotta leave.
Noted Florida Gators fan Tyler Forness is here.
Oh yeah, Gator boy, chomp chomp.
Crazy.
You're loving it.
I'm loving it. I only have a few minutes because I have to get back to my own stream, but I at least wanted to come here and poke fun at Luke because I know he doesn't like the pick.
I don't think you're going to be among a majority on this panel, bud.
I'm okay with that. If they're fine with the foot and they're fine with the medicals, it's a phenomenal pick. He was 17th on my board. You don't find guys who are 6'6", 327 who can move like he can and be a genuine disruptor. He understands how to use the 35-inch arms both on the interior and on the exterior of the line. He's just an explosive difference maker, and you need that kind of player in the system. And he can two-gap. It's not his best trait. His best trait is just shooting gaps and being able to create havoc on the back end. And then he does need linebackers to kind of clean up a little bit. He doesn't have the best aim per se, but this is an explosive player that we've been looking for on this defense for a long time. And if he stays healthy, it's a home run.
But is there some Linval to his game? Trying to find a comp that people would understand.
He played 3 tech in college though. Like that's the thing that we're curious about.
Yeah, he played 3 tech. He did kick inside to nose on occasion, but he played on a really big defensive line to where they didn't need him to play nose. They had Cam Jackson and Chris McClellan, both of whom weigh over 340 pounds over the course of the last couple of years. And then this year, neither of those guys were here, and he missed all but 3 games with said foot injury. It's a home run swing. If you hit, this is a top 10 kind of player who has an injury history. If you hit, it's great. If you miss, It's the
18th overall pick. What do you mean, It's a first round pick.
Got Rob Brzezinski playing
it's not like whiffing on a bunch of drafts has sent the Vikings careening into a tailspin into hell. How about another one?
I am fully willing to admit that maybe me being excited being a Florida Gators fan is clouding my judgment.
I know you got to go and head back to your own stream, but I gotta pick one thing that you said, which is you love it when a player is disruptive. Then why didn't he disrupt? That's his production numbers. Just
production
from a pressure
wasn't
standpoint
great when
alone
he was healthy.
are terrible.
It was fine, but
a lot of what he was able to do from kind of that production standpoint was more penetrating in the run game. It was not as much.
But without securing the tackle,
wasn't there a missed tackle issue? I think that might be the answer to your question. Is that he missed a bunch of tackles?
Yeah, I addressed that as well. He gets a lot of penetration, and then he goes after the running back, and he's like this close. So he's going to need a little bit of linebacker cleanup behind him in order to kind of take advantage.
I will say
Jonathan Grenard will be able to
I
clean that
don't
up.
mind defensive tackle missed tackles. I will put that out there that is not a huge concern for me. But if you add his missed tackles to his tackles at the line of scrimmage, the numbers are still not that impressive to me. Like, he did miss a bunch of tackles, and that's like whatever. But like, he's not getting there often enough for me to say pick 18 overall if he's healthy, which he's not.
We're describing
does this make
his
it more
tool.
prone that Jonathan Grenard does get traded? Like, hey, let's go take our big swing now because we know we're going to have a little bit more ammo than even
Okay,
what we
honestly,
got on paper.
a nose tackle and then trading away your edge rusher is very funny, I think. That
Quase is
Get a
so
GM in the
fast.
room.
Yeah.
Somebody get in the cockpit. The plane is falling.
Nobody's flying this plane.
But who's
Sully
flying the
Sullenberger.
plane?
Look, it's an upside play, and that's arguably not the direction they should have gone. But I'm not going to control myself. I'm very happy they went this direction, assuming that they like the medicals, which obviously they do.
I think I speak for all of us. I hope you're right. I really do.
Oh,
I really do.
I hope I'm right, and I'm just very
Yeah.
glad for my own personal benefit. Nobody
you gotta,
else.
Okay,
is-
but you gotta be Thorn S. Nystrom on this one. You gotta ride this one into the dirt. I think.
Look,
That's gotta be your brand.
look,
It's your turn.
I'm
It's your
sorry.
turn.
I am not
It's your
going to
turn.
claim that Caleb Banks is the savior to all eternity. I'm just going to
You
claim
could
that
do
I
it. You
think
could.
it's
You
a-
could. You could make that happen. You could make that your take.
Look, that would have been me if the Vikings took Drake May, and I feel really good about how that's turning out so far. But no, look, if he's healthy, he can be a really good difference maker. And the one thing that worries me about a guy in the interior is the 35-inch arms. I talked to him at the Senior Bowl. He understands kind of how that can be a real disadvantage on the inside. He understands how to like peek and shed, and that was arguably the biggest flaw of his Senior Bowl performance. He was doing too much of that in individual pass rush drills. Figured it out, and then he was arguably the most explosive player on the final 2 days.
Talk about practice.
Yeah, we
Not
are
a
talking
game.
about practice because that's
Not a
about all
game.
we have from his
Hey,
2025.
10 and 7th, 8-inch arms. That's almost 11-inch, or excuse me, hands. Sorry, hands. Sam,
And you can't get him on
11-inch
anybody.
hands.
11-inch hands, just 1 inch short of a foot-long sub.
Take one bite of a foot-long sub. That's how big that dude's hands are.
I'm really excited about this pick. I can't wait to debate Luke and Arif on it for the next, I don't know, eon. It's going to be fun, and I'm probably going to lose half the battles, and I don't care.
Well, we're
I'm
gonna
very-
get a positive Matt Freese article on the pick. He loves the pick. So get the long-haired.
Oh, that's
Vikings
good.
analysts on
That's
You know
good.
what? I feel a lot better about my own opinion because I admit there's going to be some inherent bias in there that Matt Freese loves the pick. I feel good now.
Long game for Briz, because in 3 years, if this works out, people will look back and say, "Wow, what a pick! What a pick!"
Yeah, but then
Nobody
you'll be
believes.
back
5
to
of the
cap
6
management.
people on that show hated the pick.
Look,
No, but he wants to have a good relationship with Banks when they go to the table in 3 years to negotiate the extension. So then he's like, "Hey, remember
Only
me?
5
There we
years.
go.
Yeah.
I picked you."
I
Give us
fully
a
admit
little
it's a home run
discount.
swing
Chat.
on like a 1-2 count, but if you hit, it doesn't matter if you made a dumb decision, if that makes sense.
I like the analogy. I would substitute 1-2 with 0-2 Game 7 World Series, but I do get it. I do get it. High ceilings.
So it's like it's
early with
0-2 in a
communication
regular
on that.
season game you need to win to keep your playoff hopes alive.
We don't need to
It's-
talk
I-
about Kirk Cousins against the Bears.
I mean you're 10 games out of first and the playoffs are and the regular season's coming to an end, and then it's taking the home run swing then, and it's like I don't know if anything was going to work out great with where they're at right now, but that might not be the time.
Look, I just don't have to deal with Dylan Thieneman on this football team, so I win inherently more than anybody else today, and I'm gonna enjoy that.
Thieneman late first rounder, like some of us said. There you
Trading
go.
Stukes tomorrow.
There it is.
Please, I will cry.
Happy tears, right?
I think we have some catching up to do on everything else that has happened after this pick as well, and that will come up next here on Locked On Vikings panel live stream. See you later, Forno. This Locked On Vikings live stream is brought to you by Kalshi. The NFL draft is underway, and every pick is a tradable moment on Kalshi. If you had Caleb Banks as the Vikings pick, you probably made out like a bandit. Whatever you have, You can grab it, and it's all updating live. So on Kalshi, you are trading against peers in a live market, meaning there is no house, and as the probabilities change, you can buy in and out of your position. Trade the draft pick, the game, and more on Kalshi. For a limited time, download the Kalshi app and use code LOCKEDON to get $10 when you trade 10. Kalshi. Kalshi. Trade on anything. I know some of you got to get out of here soon because there's some other Minnesota sports coming around the pipe here. Julia Daniels is also, I think she's in the pressers, and she'll be around whenever she gets a chance. If she manages to get in here before the end of the night, that would be sweet. So I don't know if anybody's got any final thoughts before you head out to go cover some basketball.
I would say that I don't love the pick, but I am also if this happens in the second round, we're probably having a different conversation. We're probably more intrigued by the upside. And I think I'm willing to look at the body of work on this one. Let's see what this draft yields.
You want to see it all put together.
We're already
2 days left.
That's incredible. I will say this does, like, I do remember when the Vikings selected, was it Trey Waynes and Eric Hendricks? They were the same draft, right?
Yeah.
And Diggs and Hunter.
Yeah, but like just from those two, I was really excited about the Kendricks pick, and I had advocated for the Vikings to pick him in the first round, maybe not necessarily at 11, but in the first round, and wait until the second round to grab a corner if they were going to select Trey Waynes. And so the first and second haul I enjoyed in totality, but I really hated the Waynes pick, and I really liked the Kendricks pick. So yeah, maybe they grab a falling first round, or maybe it's Dylan Thieneman at 49.
I think the Vikings had to be cursed in the draft for 10 years after the 2015 because Spielman sold his soul to the devil. 10 years of famine, and this is the first year out of it. So this is the rebirth.
That's how it works.
Somebody said Sharif Floyd 2.0, and I've heard a monkey's paw curling.
Oh, no. I didn't even think about the other side of that one.
Yeah,
oh, no.
Yeah, Florida Gators D tackle. That surely won't have a career-threatening health issue later in his career.
Didn't Sharif Floyd end up being like a Gators assistant in his post-football career?
I believe you're right.
Yeah.
I want to say
I know he's with the Cowboys at
here.
one point.
I'm not Googling to look it up, so if no one else is doing that, then we don't have
too many tabs already.
Yeah.
So what did I miss
I'm
when I
looking
went
it up.
over to do the clipping and stuff for Locked On NFL?
I was more takes. I don't think we we
Well,
we know
picks?
that the Cowboys reached on Malachi Lawrence at 23. The Chargers grabbed Akeem Messidor at 22. At 20, the Lemon, I think you already knew about that. 21 was Steelers.
Oh,
Maxey
right,
and
because the
Oxford.
Eagles traded up with the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Because the Vikings told them no, because we got to have Caleb Banks. Is that the
Reggie
narrative
talked
here?
about that pick pretty much solidifies A.J. Brown's toast.
Yeah,
He's gone.
So,
Yeah, that we knew based on what we know is some very intrepid reporting.
Do you think if this feels like the Vikings were dialed in with Banks, no matter what? Do you think if Kenyon Sadiq was still on the board, this looks different?
Ooh.
Could be. If Alex reporting, which did turn out to be prescient with the D tackle stuff, he was also reporting that they were super high on Sadiq.
and that they would only take Thieneman in a trade down. So, actually, that all tracks. Good work, Alec.
I'm batting 1,000 on. Nope, Flores is going to pass on that safety.
I'm just
Who
really
does he
bugged
like
they didn't
at
trade
this
down.
point?
What's that,
I
Richard?
think we'll find out tomorrow, to be honest.
Which safety does he like, do we think?
Yeah.
Yeah,
we'll find out
who
tomorrow
does
what
he
it's
like?
about. But
That's an
probably not a
interesting-
guy that's playing at 200 pounds and can't fit the alley without getting bowled over.
So, probably not Kamari Ramsey then, right?
I did not like Kamari Ramsey. I only watched him for a hot second, but I didn't love it.
Yeah.
And he's hurt too, which
Yeah,
I
I'm
don't know,
gonna
you
go
want to do that twice?
I'm gonna go to the Beast and then sort by safety weight. We'll see what we
There it is.
What does Genesis
I will say-
Smith weigh? Because he at Arizona, his
We'll
tackling
find out in a
was-
second, my guy.
Genesis Smith, maybe.
his tackling
I
was
do think
atrocious.
Stukes is a phenomenal fit for Flores. Not a safety, but I think Jake Golday is a phenomenal fit for Flores. I think he's perfect. for
Gold Day,
what
let's
Flores wants
go.
to do.
You're on the Gold Day
All right,
train.
so-
man.
I'm on the Gold Day
go.
train.
We got AJ
Uh,
Halsey at 215 pounds.
Halsey makes a ton of sense.
I love
I would
Halsey,
be
too.
pretty good with that.
Jalen
any day, too.
Kilgore at 210 pounds. Man. Caleb Downs at 206. I think he's gone. VJ
He's gone.
Payne at
Hold on, I'll
206. Yeah, okay, thanks. Get on that for
there
me.
goes KC Concepcion to the Browns.
Genesis Smith at 205 pounds. There you go.
205 and he can't tackle? Okay, good.
Zaki
I
Wheatley,
think I
the
mocked
guy I
him
like at 202.
today.
Genesis?
That's not a guy I
Yeah,
thought.
I think you did.
Yeah, I mocked him today. I mean,
I kind of like him.
yeah.
Great name.
Ball hawk, okay? Ball
Hey,
hawk.
McNeil Warren's still on the board. Safety. If Thieneman is still falling, that pushes McNeil Warren down, and maybe you get in shouting distance of a trade up at 49 if you
I
want.
wonder if at a certain point, is it just a coin flip and maybe McNeil Warren just takes one team? Maybe McNeil Warren goes higher than Thieneman.
It's been reported that is possible, and I could
What if the
see
Bears just do it right here?
What's the Bears' safety
the Bears,
situation look
it
like?
feels now it's written that the
They
Bears
lost
take
both of their
Thieneman.
safeties in free agency.
Yep.
Yeah, now the Bears take Thieneman, and if he turns out well for them, they get to laugh at the Vikings really big time.
Yeah. So they signed Cam Lewis, not for a ton of money in free agency, but he's probably going to be a starter. They have Javarius Owens, who I don't imagine being anything more than a special teamer. Elijah Hicks, same thing. And then they also have Kobe Bryant from Seattle, who's played both corner and safety. But I think they could definitely use a safety for sure.
No doubt. What are their other big needs, big glaring need? That sounds like a huge need.
I think that they did grab an edge rusher opposite Montez Sweat and Dayota Yingbo, but I think they could probably use another one.
Center,
could
Dahlman's
see a
gone,
corner.
retired, surprise retirement. I know.
Garrett Bradbury
not
is
a
starting
Signed
center.
some. They brought in Bradbury.
Garrett Bradbury is the starting center, which they'll only have for a year. So if they
Long-term
grab
option for them.
another center
Center
that
of their
makes sense.
franchise now.
And
Traded
they are
DJ
very
Moore.
confident, they say, in their offensive tackles. But I could see a left tackle because they're comfortable with Darnell Wright on the right. But
How fun would it be if Banks is a stud and he gets to play against Garrett Bradbury twice a year?
that would be fun.
That would be
Fun to be on the
sweet.
other side of that.
Now I'm into it.
Yeah.
Guys.
You're into the
Cope harder.
concept that he could be good. That's so.
Yeah.
Banks
This is
wasn't even
actually
on their
turning out.
board until the Bears signed Bradbury. That's what I heard.
This could turn out to
mind
be
is-
very Vikings, where like it gives you hope because he's going to turn out really good to start, and then
Bears
he takes
got
it away
Thieneman.
in week 6 when he
Bears
goes down
got
with a foot
Thieneman.
injury.
Thieneman.
Thieneman to the Bears.
Yeah. This
Knew
is
it.
going to
I knew
be
it.
extremely funny, I
A
think.
whole bunch of people are suddenly going to start agreeing with me.
And Forno. You and Forno.
This
If
true.
you, if you
President,
want
Vice
the
President.
cope on this, go listen to some Locked On Vikings episodes from earlier in this season.
Braun,
man,
I'm excited to
but-
hear your show tomorrow. Squad show's back Monday and Thursday. I'm bouncing.
Nice.
This was
Thanks
a
so much,
blast.
Sam.
Yeah, man, you got to go too, don't you?
I got to roll. I got
Yeah.
to roll.
All right.
Go Wolves.
Enjoy the basketball. Go Puppies.
See you, boys.
Man.
I'm going to
the-
stick around. You guys can do whatever you want, but I'm going to stay here till pick 32, hang out with the chat, take some questions if people have other questions. And then we got to start talking about day 2, and I got to start watching tape on this guy because I didn't do any of the D tackles this year.
You did linebackers and not D tackles?
Yeah, I'm in timeout because of my Chop Robinson takes from a couple years ago. I decided I wasn't allowed to do D line, but now I have to. Yeah.
Houston
sentence.
traded up for Buffalo spot at 26, so
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Just a couple spots up. Who do they want?
Let's see. So left, we've
Dermot?
got Jermod McCoy, which injury flag. Evian Terrell, injury flag. Keldrick Falk, bad at football flag.
Polarization
Oh.
flag. Yeah.
oh.
Yeah. That's not fair. I don't like Keldrick Falk as a top 15 player. I think he's fine at 26. Then Emmanuel McNeil Warren, obviously. And then you've got a couple of receivers, Omar Cooper, Denzel Boston.
Very good point from Alex the Dane, Caleb Banks at US Bank.
That's a good point, actually, yeah.
That's a really good point.
How polarizing was Caleb Banks as a prospect? That's a really good question.
Yes, good
so
question.
relatively speaking, if we take a look at how polarizing players are in the 35 to 40 range of the consensus board, he is less polarizing than a typical prospect at that range. But we can also take a look just kind of like where people generally rank them. Let me pull up, because I'm running the consensus board off of the Google Docs tracker right now. Let me pull up the actual thing that like kills my computer but has way more information. Here it is. Let's take a look at Banks. So people generally ranked him. So this is called the. Hold on, it's not here. People generally ranked him between 29 and 45. Like that was the broad range that he was ranked across boards. I'm using what's called the interquartile range, which means we're getting rid of the top 25% of ranks and the bottom 25% of ranks, because I have 134 analyst boards here, right? So there's going to be some weird outliers. We get rid of those, and generally speaking, the middle 50% ranked in between 29 and 45. So not very polarizing. Like Ty Simpson, the very next guy on the board, had a larger range of 30 to 51, right? Not very polarizing, but certainly, within kind of this bottom of the first, top of the second range, which I think is an important question, right? Because I have pointed out in the past, and I just did another look at this, that when you reach for a player against the consensus board, typically that doesn't turn out very well just broadly, but it is more likely to turn out well if that player is polarizing, which is to say, if a good chunk of analysts think that he's either really bad or really good, and that's why his average ranking is where it is, there's a better chance that that guy is going to work out for you as a reach if there's a couple of people willing to like stake their claim and say, actually, this guy is good as hell, and you should grab him. And there's not a ton of people saying that about Caleb Banks. So, that's something to keep in mind.
So I saw this, and then I'll bail because I heard the baby crying upstairs. But
Good reason.
I saw a tweet from Banks, and in an interview he was doing, he said that he feels like he models his game after Chris Jones, potential future Hall of Fame.
I heard that from
defensive
Ledyard
tackle
too.
Chris Jones.
That said, like the good stuff looks like Chris Jones, but it's not all that.
Yeah, and so he said, I haven't reached my ceiling yet. He's like, but once I do, I'll pass him. That's what he said.
Well, I'm glad he has that mindset. That's an ambitious one. He also weighs 20 pounds more than Chris Jones. So, like, good luck with that, I guess. I don't know, man. Like, I would love for him to do that.
Well, it's interesting, too, because Chris Jones is definitely a disruptor, but, at his position, he gets a lot of sacks as well. And so I'm interested to see if that is what. Obviously, I feel like the top of the top is like Aaron Donald, Warren Sapp, like those guys on the interior, just disrupting, getting sacks, clogging up the lane, 2-3 offensive linemen trying to take them down and all that. But him saying that he feels like his traits compared to Chris Jones is, I think if that ends up being the case, I feel like Vikings fans will be really, really excited about that. But the medicals have to check out. I saw that Shefty tweet saying, the CT scan showed that he'll be good to go, in June, which, that's great. But he didn't play. He only played 3 games last season with Florida with that troublesome foot. You would hope that now, multiple injuries to that foot, getting that surgery, he's all good to go, and he can actually be available and get to that ceiling that he talked about. But there's just a lot to think about. And with the Vikings and all the needs that they have, it just seems a little interesting that they go for that player. They were believing in the talent more than some of the injury concerns, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
It feels it's like interesting to think about, because I think if this guy is the pick at 49, I would have been like cruising. I would have been super happy with it. Yeah. And at a certain point you go, okay, well, are you just happy that this guy's on the team or not? It does fill a massive need. I do think a little bit that they're just like reaching for need, which is a very 2000s Vikings thing to do, which, look at the names. But
I think that South Carolina receiver is going to turn out. Just you wait.
Well, so I missed it. Maybe you guys were already talking about this, but who are you guys looking at for day 2 as we kind of wind this down? I think,
mean,
who's on the clock,
we've
like
talked
28.
about Stukes before, right? I do like him. He is pretty versatile. He's a highly, highly polarizing player, so he could be somebody that you might reach for, right? But I personally I like him. I'm kind of curious if they're gonna grab like a safety at all. We mentioned AJ Halsey, who you didn't like, but he did fit the weight requirement
No, I
we
do
just
like
made up on the fly.
AJ Halsey.
Oh, you do like? Okay, great.
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, there you go. After that, like, I'm not feeling the running backs here. I could see Jake Golday, the linebacker from Cincinnati. I know that Forno and you are not a big fan of Rodriguez.
Rodriguez is very perplexing to me. I don't really know what I think about him. He's such an athlete, and so at the very least, it's like just like, okay, raw athlete project is like the worst you can say about him. That's got upside, you know. But I don't know. I feel like he just overruns stuff a lot, which
my
was
big
concerning to me.
concern with him has nothing to do with his actual play on the field or any off-field character issues he has, but rather that the Vikings fan base will compare him to Chaz Surratt because he was recruited as a quarterback.
I thought you were going to say the mustache, and I was going to disagree really hard about it.
I'm not feeling it, but I understand people who do. Is where I'll go with that.
I think it works for it. He's got the head for it.
Yeah, that's a fair take.
What do you think about Jacob Rodriguez's mustache as we get to pick 29 in the NFL draft, Reggie?
I don't mind it. You know, he's a grown man. You know, he's a grown man out there. You know, yeah. I mean, I like him as a player. I think if they go there, I wouldn't be mad at that. We did like the drafts simulator deal earlier today, and I had a mock of the Vikings getting linebacker Justin Jefferson. Obviously does a little bit different than Jacob Rodriguez, but I feel like the value there may be better. I had a sicko pick in the second round. You guys can, boo me, throw tomatoes if you want, but he was there when I was doing the draft sim. Jadarian Price. I feel like if he's there,
I don't think he'll be there.
Yeah, that's what exactly.
Well, that's the nature of simulators, right? You got to have
a couple
of guys fall for it to be realistic.
That would be interesting in that.
Yeah. I like him as a player a fair amount, and the Vikings do need to make an investment at running back. That value question is a really interesting one because he's much better than that pick, but I don't want the Vikings to just generally take a running back at that pick in round 2. I would have to wrestle with that.
Yeah.
When's the last time we've seen? Yeah, when's the last time we've seen 2 running backs from the same school top 50?
Was that the Alabama Kenyon Drake and whoever he was with? Right? Were they both in the same draft?
Because I'm thinking like Auburn, Cadillac Williams, and Ronnie. But that's a long time ago.
That's forever ago. Well, Reef looks that up, Reggie. Before you go, I need to get your submission for my day 3 contest. The way it works is if you pick somebody that the Vikings will take on day 3, I'll donate $25 to a charity of your choice. A lot of names are already taken, so throw one out there and I'll see if it's free.
Is Sam Heck there? Because I feel like everybody is talking about him.
He is. He is there.
He might.
I think a lot of people see him as a
round 3 pick. It'll be interesting to see where he goes. So Kenyon Drake was picked 73rd, so he doesn't qualify. But it was Kenyon Drake and Derrick Henry in that draft that I remembered.
Oh yeah.
I'm thinking about that Arkansas running back group from way back, the Wildcat. McFadden was in that group, right?
Oh.
Yeah.
Somebody's asking if Grenard got traded. No, but there's definitely some rumors about stuff like that going down.
I saw that.
Might have been predicated on Makai Lemon not falling to them.
Yeah. Felix Jones and Darren McFadden both went in the first round that year.
Whew. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, now I need to look up the Auburn guys, but I feel like that might not be okay. So Cadillac Williams was taken in the first round. Let's see. Was it the same year? Yeah. So 2005, Ronnie Brown, Cadillac Williams,
Ronnie
both
Brown.
first round picks.
Is Trey Zool available for the day 3 contest? Yes, but I'm only making an exception for Reggie because he's cool like that. But I did technically close the submissions after the first round or the first pick went off the board.
Mm.
But I'll
Well,
do the same for
I appreciate
Julia if she
49ers
gets
selected Chris Johnson. All right. Another Chris Johnson. Yeah.
letting you in the back door, after the event started.
Appreciate it. All right, fellas. Well, this was fun.
Yeah.
It's
All right.
first time I've done Locked On draft night.
Very nice.
I guess because
feel free to swing by tomorrow.
I'm not on
I will
TV
be
tonight.
live. I'll be live all of day 2 as well. So feel free to swing by if you want. I know you've
Okay.
got other stuff going on, so all you.
Sounds good. All right, well, enjoy the rest of the night 1 of the draft, fellas.
Will do.
Have a
man.
good one,
Thanks
Reggie.
Thanks for coming on.
Peace.
Rob Brzezinski
Do you think-
said, we have the best doctors in the country, if not the world. And then added, there is nothing without risk. This is obviously in response to a question about Caleb Banks' foot.
That was a Rob Brzezinski said we have the best doctors in the.
In the country, if not the world.
They're really good at getting people to go on the field. I don't know if they're good at preventing the injuries of those people, but they sure will keep Carson Wentz available.
Yeah, just to sacrifice him. I'm going to bad faith that quote and quote it with making my pick contingent on having the greatest medical professionals on the planet.
It's super cool when you can tell that even he doesn't really buy it. That's great. Cool. Excellent. You definitely lost the argument, Rob. I get it.
So we have the best doctors on the planet.
That's
It's
your-
insane.
So I want to be perfectly frank. So because I kind of stayed away from the D-line this year for personal wrongness reasons, I don't have like the most fleshed out immediate Caleb Banks take. So whatever I say here, I might go watch some tape and come away and be like, nope, this dude's the truth. Like, it's just that the best I can do is come up with a hot take that this is good. Like, the most I can defend this is by going out on a limb. That can't be great.
Yeah. I will say, and I can't believe no one has responded to this in the 10 seconds since I tweeted this out.
Chris Johnson.
You might have an argument by saying, hey, we just grabbed him from Mayo. But I still don't... I
mean, sure.
That framing,
but like,
right?
Yeah, you can't... That only takes you so far. As we found out literally last year with an injury-plagued Vikings that could not get healthy, that had an O-line that spent like 10 snaps in their starting 5 or something like that.
Do we think this is the same medical staff that evaluated J.J. McCarthy and Carson Wentz?
Yeah.
So, it's...
So that's interesting.
Yeah. Well, they didn't grab the Mayo doctors for that, only for the draft. Well, no, McCarthy's a draft.
Only grabbed Mayo doctors for the draft. Yeah. Which are the doctors that cleared Ryan Kelly of his concussion symptoms?
Well, he was cleared of concussions every time. That's not the issue. He did not have a concussion when he took the field on snap 1, ever. But,
I guess it can. I thought he came back like the next week and got another one. Or am I thinking of a different situation?
No. He did get. That's why I said snap 1.
Okay, got it. The same doctors that sent Jonathan Grenard back out there with a shoulder injury?
That was a Grenard decision. He took the advice that the greatest medical professionals on the planet gave him and turned it down.
Well.
Yeah.
Can't do that. The Patriots have traded up to 28.
Yeah.
Miami traded up?
No, Miami traded it down?
Or down again?
Yeah. Patriots pick Caleb Lomu, the other Utah tackle.
27? Where's San Francisco? No, they traded back up into the first. So San Francisco traded traded down to 30. There it is. Okay, I see it.
Wait, okay, so Miami was picked 27?
Miami was 27, trading up from 30. San Francisco's now at 30.
Okay.
And the Patriots picked who? Lomu?
Yeah, Lomu.
Okay. Well.
Makes sense. Miami should be the one trading up. They have the most picks in the world.
Yeah, they should use some of those, especially after they traded down again.
I do like the idea of them using all of their picks and making like Kevin Fielder's life hell, though. That is appealing to me.
No, I think he's enjoying it.
He's enjoying the misery that he's putting on.
Is he putting on misery?
He was to me. I don't know. Maybe you don't know him like that.
I haven't looked at. I've been live, Arif. I haven't looked at anything.
Yeah, he was doing it for
Maybe
like
he
weeks,
is.
man. He was like, I did a Miami Dolphins mock draft and I traded down a bunch just to mess with them.
Well,
he got
we
real
all
mad.
do that.
Yeah.
Somebody just said Vrabel picked protection. Damn it. It's just the two of us now. Uh-oh. This is truly after dark.
Do we want to talk about, was it the Gravity Canyon? Project Anchor?
Project Anchor? Does anybody know anything about Project Anchor in the chat?
Yeah, what does the chat know about Project Anchor?
I won't moderate.
This will be important because if Project Anchor goes off successfully, the weight issue for Caleb Banks will not be a problem.
This will take a lot of stress off of his feet and then put a lot more back on.
Right, for 7 seconds. It'll be great.
This is hideous. 29, the pick is in for the Kansas City Chiefs. I had him taking Concepcion. Already off the board.
You had KC taking KC? Come on, man.
I did. I didn't even realize that I did that. I actually had him
disgusting.
going to Miami before I realized I accidentally had Miami taking 2 receivers. And he might not take any.
Man, okay, so right now,
Peter Woods.
in terms of
All right, I win that part.
the biggest reaches in the draft, so by rank, I believe it's Ty Simpson, but by value, it is David Bailey. So I will say that, Caleb
Other
Banks
teams
is
reached more.
5th on the list in terms of greatest reaches by value. Bailey, Simpson, Carnell Tate, which that was a crazy pick, I think. Malachi Lawrence, and then Caleb Banks.
I would love it for the last little bit of this if you could turn up your internal audio, and I will buy you a little bit of time to do that here on the Locked On Vikings live stream. This Locked On Vikings Draft Day live stream is brought to you by Home Chef. You know that feeling around dinner time when you're starving, maybe a little hangry, and somehow there's nothing in your fridge? That is why Home Chef is the easiest way to have real balanced meals ready to go without the stress. Home Chef makes cooking simple. You get fresh ingredients delivered right to your door, easy to follow recipes, and meals that actually taste great. No long shopping lists, no complicated preps, and best of all, easy cleanup. It's super flexible too. Sometimes you got time for a full 30-minute meal, and other nights you just want something that can go straight in the oven without thinking about it. There are over 30 meals to choose from every week, so you're not stuck eating the same thing, and you've got options for how it fits into your day. You'll spend way less time, you spend way less money than you would on maybe like the delivery apps or whatever, and honestly, the meals feel restaurant quality. For a limited time, Home Chef is offering my listeners 50% off and free shipping on your first box, plus free dessert for life. Go to homechef.com/LockedOnNFL. That's homechef.com/LockedOnNFL for 50% off of your first box and free dessert for life. Homechef.com/LockedOnNFL. Must be an active subscriber to receive free dessert. This episode is also brought to you by Rugiet. The NFL draft is where preparation meets opportunity and every decision matters. It's all about being ready when your moment comes. That same mindset applies off the field too, and that's where Rugiet comes in. Rugiet offers treatments designed to help you feel ready and confident when it matters most. Their top option, Rugiet Ready, is a mint that dissolves under your tongue with clinically proven ingredients and works quickly, often in about 15 minutes, and can last up to 36 hours. They also offer Go Long, designed to help with both performance and control. It's all about showing up at your best, or whenever your moment is. Head to Rugiet.com/LockedOnNFL and get 15% off of your ED treatment. That's RUGIET.com/LockedOnNFL for 15% off. Rugiet, performance medicine for men. I have a question, Arif.
Okay.
Where among... is there any historical comparison we can make to the reach that the Vikings have made here in terms of the past, something else the Vikings have done in the past?
So Donovan Jackson wasn't as big of a reach because he was number 36 on the board, and the Vikings picked him at 22, something like that. So it's not that much.
It was like 22 or 23.
Yeah. Going all the way back, Trey Floyd was a steal, a huge steal. He was ranked number 3, I think, on the proto consensus board, way before I had one. Cordero was kind of a steal if you don't account for like what trade value is, right? Rhodes was pretty good. Who'd they pick in 14?
Teddy.
Okay, that was a steal, right? Because they
Anthony Barr.
Anthony Barr, which was kind of a small reach, I think.
He was like 12th or something, right? And they picked him 9th.
And then Wayne's in 15, which was not really a steal or a reach by that much. 16 was Treadwell, which was a little bit of a reach, if I remember. 17, who'd they pick?
17? They did not have a first-round pick. They picked Sam Bradford.
It was Sam Bradford. That was a reach.
Yep. It was Dalvin Cook. Dalvin Cook was their first pick.
Dalvin Cook was a huge steal. He was ranked 12 on the consensus board, and he fell to like 48.
So they've reached bigger than this.
Probably. I'm just trying to think. Like I'm just trying to go through them.
Mike Hughes, was he?
I'm sure the chat has something. What was it?
Mike Hughes, was that a big reach?
It was a bit of a reach, but like, didn't they pick him pretty late in the
30th.
Draft? Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know where it was. I didn't know anything.
Yeah,
about it.
I mean, Mike Hughes was not like whoever the Falcons picked that year, Oliver or something, right? That was like a better pick. Gladney wasn't a reach. I don't know that they've made this much of a reach in the first round. Their picks I've disliked a lot in the first round. But McCarthy, obviously.
Oh right, McCarthy, because he was higher, probably is going to represent a bigger reach.
Yeah.
Because
not just that, but he was like
18.
He was ranked somewhere in the 20s, if I remember correctly.
Oh, there goes Peter Woods.
Yeah, so Peter Woods to Kansas City, so he's going to get the Chris Jones comparison.
Yeah, him next to Chris Jones is pretty fun.
Yeah.
So
let's see.
White.
Where was
Very
McCarthy
cool.
ranked in 23? Because like that, you can't beat that level of reach.
Oh yeah, how much of a reach was Ponder? Unfortunately, we don't have consensus.
We don't have consensus going. No one was putting out enough content for.
No, but yeah, people are just naming old draft picks now, which is a good state for the chat.
Erasmus James is good. Kenichi Udeze is good.
Yeah, some interesting stuff happened back in the Triangle of Authority days when they had the same structure as they have right now.
Okay, so McCarthy was the consensus ranked 25, so pick 10, that value reaches the largest. He was also the 4th most polarizing player in the draft that year, at least within the top 150. So there was some level of like, you can justify a reach. But 25 to 10 is a bigger reach than 18 to 37, as weird as that is to say.
I'm feeling Seattle gets pawns at the end here. The Jets did trade up to pick 30. So San Francisco did go down again, went out of the
So the Jets picked the other receiver, Omar Cooper, right? So
Omar Cooper? Okay.
Yeah.
And with that, I'm afraid I have to inform chat that I've lost my bet with my dad. It was contingent on me getting I had 5 guesses to get the Vikings first round pick right, and I regret to inform you that Caleb Banks was not on that list.
Whew.
I also needed to get 6 people to the exact right slot in the draft, and I only got 4.
Exact right slot. So pick number, not team?
Yeah, sometimes we've done team, sometimes we've done pick number, but because like Arvell Reese was like, I was like really sure he was going to go 3rd, but maybe there was a trade, I went with pick slot. I don't think that would have helped me if I went with number.
Yeah.
Or if I went with team.
Yeah.
I would have gotten Mansour Delane, but that would have been it. Because I had him to the Chiefs. I just had it at 9.
It was a very strange, like, top 7. Fernando Mendoza aside.
It was like all of the guys that you say are top 10 guys were top 10 guys, but just not to the teams everybody had. Mm-hmm. Which was just perfect for screwing up my contest specifically with my father.
Good. I'm glad that happened to you.
Yeah. But then I did get enough names. I needed I got it by a lot. I needed 25 or more of the right names in the first round. And I think I'm sitting at 26 with 2 picks to go. So I did that great, but Caleb Banks really threw me.
It was a 3-part bet? You were always going to lose, dude. What are you talking about?
I needed 2 out of 3 to win it.
Okay. I was like, So it was like a Prize Picks is the one that sponsors us, right? It's like a Prize Picks flex play.
Yes, exactly. Great. Good work.
I'm such a good company, man. That's a thing that people know me
that's
for.
That's what you do is write the company line. Omar Cooper to the Jets. They've had quite the day, huh?
Yeah, it's an interesting day because they
Cooper.
grabbed Bailey, much to everyone's chagrin. They grabbed Kenyon Sadiq, kind of to a lot of people's chagrin. And then Omar Cooper.
So Kenyon Sneak and Omar Cooper. We are
That is
ready to trade Garrett Wilson.
They're really setting up Arch Manning, is what's happening. They're gonna create a real great environment for him.
I mean, that's what you're gonna do, right? You either do that or you reach on Ty Simpson. I feel like that's a way better thing that the Jets can do with pick 33. Yeah. I feel like I just get a good vibe about Omar Cooper. I feel like he's got it.
You get a good vibe from Omar Cooper?
Yeah.
Yeah. I like him. Bills traded down again?
Bills traded down again. Tennessee goes back up. Everybody's leapfrogging the Cardinals.
Well, you can't let him get Ty Simpson.
What could this be about? Is this Dermot?
I'm curious who
Tennessee,
the Titans are getting because the Titans already screwed up once. So,
wait, what did they do?
Well, they grabbed Carnell Tate, who's not a bad player,
Carnell
but
Tate.
like at 4 is crazy.
That is just not the kind of guy. Although I will say there is not just for Ohio State reasons, but there's always the Michael Thomas rule, which is the wide receiver that's a jack of all trades actually can kind of like work out way better than that. Because if you're not that bad at anything, it's really hard for corners to like attack you.
Yeah, I do agree with that. But like, given Michael Thomas's draft profile, like you would not be drafting him top 5, obviously, because that didn't happen. So I very much have already won that portion of the argument. But
right.
like
way different sell in the top 5. But it worked. Is all I'm saying is that tends to be the kind of profile that's like a guy that is better than we thought. But
well, I mean that's
pretty high up there.
Not to make lofty comparisons that are impossible for even a top 5 pick to meet, but that is the Justin Jefferson profile, right? Like
Absolutely,
coming out.
Yeah. That was I remember saying, "Oh, I like the Justin Jefferson pick because I learned this lesson about Michael Thomas a couple years ago." And here's the deal.
It's Keldrick Falk, by the way.
Keldrick Falk.
So grabbing the 20th ranked player at 31, a guy that has been kind of fun to hate on, that's great value for talent and doesn't make up for the Carnell Tate pick, but certainly, you're getting back some ground there.
When it happened, I wanted to check in on Tyler Rowland because he was super locked in on Jeremiah Love.
Interesting.
So I wanted to see what his vibe was about.
Man. So the Jets have 3 first-round picks next year, too. Man, if they screw up this 2-year run of draft picks, that would be incredible, right?
Jeremiah Smith tweets out, "Yeah, CT," and Tyler quote tweets it with, "You'll be here next year somehow." So he's doing great. Locked On Titans is a fantastic rage watch if you just want to feel somebody be mad with you.
So Bimble Skull, great name, says Caden Proctor was a reach too. So that is both technically true technically as if we have one objective source of data.
We do. It's the wide left consensus.
Yeah. So that is
he was
true.
19th.
But I also want to say it's a bad team fit. Oh no. I don't like Caden Proctor to the Dolphins for multiple reasons. Nick Saban went on air to dog him, which he only coached him I think for a year, but he was like, "Hey,
Nick Saban."
Yeah, so he was 18, and Nick Saban said "Hey, I knew when he was 18, so who's to say?" But he was lazy, right?
Cool. All right.
But that is a wide zone offense, and he very much is not a wide zone tackle. So there's just a lot of issues there, I think, drafting him in the first round.
Could they be up to something that changes everything in Miami with Malik Willis and new coaching? And
so do we think Bobby Slowick has it in him?
I have no idea what Bobby Slowick will do with who is even the head coach? Well, I can't even think of it.
Hafley. They stole him from the
Hafley.
Packers.
Yeah, okay, so defensive head coach. So Bobby Slowick, carte blanche. I have no idea what he'll do.
I mean, it sounds like he's going to turn them into a power running team, which would be very funny given their personnel.
I don't know anything about Caden Proctor. What is he best for? What is his scheme fit?
Big? Well, he's good at being big. Like, there's a lot of guys that are bad at being big, right?
He's good at being, the power run.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
A little counter keep for Malik Willis. Let's get collegey. Let's get weird. Hold on. I'm seeing it.
Yeah, like the old UNLV options where you've got like some gap running in front of it.
Yeah. Pull in some like inverted veer from the old Ravens teams with like early Lamar. Let's get
Oh
weird.
my God. That would be fun. I don't think that's happening. Like, that's not a good way to use Aaron Brewer, who just put in like an all-world season at center, right? That's absolutely not a good use of Austin Jackson if he's going to remain, starting, which he probably won't be, but this is just like not I guess Savania, you could see it. Patrick Paul, I don't see it. This is a weird roster for that. And then you've got A-Chain and Jalen Wright, and
it's what you get when you fire everybody and you bring in new people with a new plan, and it's like halfway for one roster, halfway for like one plan, and halfway for another. And it's also nice that nobody expects the Dolphins to win more than like 3 games this year, so you could do whatever you want.
Yeah, you're good. Yeah,
you don't want the weight of expectations.
Seahawks take Jadarian Price. Oh, there goes Reggie's pick. Yeah.
Oh, there goes Reggie's pick. Yeah. Jadarian Price at 32 was like a much rumored thing.
Yeah. So he was 53 on the consensus board. One of the interesting things is that when we see these like reaches, right? This was such a fast first round. We're done at 10 p.m. Central.
That's fantastic.
One of the things that we see with some of these reaches is that you're like, oh my God, what an enormous reach. You take a look at the consensus board, and it's like, yeah, that guy was ranked 53. One thing that ends up happening more often than not is that the forecaster board was higher on that player. So the forecaster board and the evaluator boards are two different kind of sub-consensus boards. And for people who haven't read that article over at Wide Left Off Football, where I explain this in a lot more detail, the forecaster board is built off of people that we typically think of as having sources. And I don't like to name everybody who's in it, but like Dane Brugler obviously would be in the forecaster board. He has a bunch of sources across NFL teams.
Jeremiah, maybe.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So people who have connections to college teams, NFL teams, and would have access to unique information, right? Like a Todd McShay revealing what players in the locker room felt about X player, right? So these are composed largely of legacy boards, right? But they get influenced by what agents and teams tell them because agents and teams have aligned to them. And so there is the other risk that they could be subject to smokescreens. But more often than not, they do a pretty good job of figuring out what is real and what isn't when they put together the board. Now, they don't put this information out there for us, so we have to always learn by implication what this might mean, right? And so they were higher on Jadarian Price. They ranked him 42, not 32, but the consensus, the evaluators ranked him 55. Caleb Banks was ranked 40, so that's not perfect, right? But Ty Simpson ranked a little bit higher on the forecaster board. Blake Miller ranked a little bit higher on the forecaster board. Peter Woods, who fell a little bit, was ranked lower on the forecaster board. So typically they do a better job of figuring out where players fall in the draft. Strangely, though the NFL beats the consensus board overall and the forecaster board and the evaluator board when it comes to, not by as much as you think, when it comes to outcomes, right? They better rank order the players than any board. You would think that getting closer to the NFL pick slot would make you better. And that's only a little true for the forecaster board. The evaluator board tends to nail reaches a lot better and saying that reach is not going to work out for you.
To be correct about the reach.
Yes. So yeah, bunch of fun stuff over at Wide Left Off Football. We got a bunch of consensus board content. Plug. Pay me money.
Yeah. Let's do a lot of that. Locked On Vikings Everydayer Club, $5 a month. You get everything ad free. Patreon.com/LukeBraunNFL. WideLeft.Football. I'm going to go try to construct a real take about Caleb Banks. Consensus seems to be pretty upset, but hey, maybe I'll go be a hot take kind of guy and say that this will actually work out. Worked out okay for me for Donovan Jackson. I'll take that.
Sure. All right. Peace out.
All right. Thank you all so much for hanging out here on the Locked On Vikings live stream. Pick 32 is in. It's Jadarian Price. So I am going to sign off for the night. Tomorrow morning, there is going to be a Locked On Vikings episode all about Caleb Banks, but I got to go research it. So that's going to be out in the morning. And then for day 2, which starts at 8 Central Time, I believe, we're going to do this all again. Going to be live again. So come on back, hang out with us for live for day 2. Might just be me. We'll see. Everybody else can come back if they want, but they all have other things that they're all going to do. So it's at the very least, I'll be with you, and we will be able to experience day 2 together. I will see you all tomorrow. And as always, Skull.